G'day, citizens. Welcome to the Inforunners. I'm joined today by Old Man himself, Algared. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm getting better. I'm still feeling croaky, still feeling not 100%, still having the coughing fits every so often, but feeling a lot better than I did during the week.
I think I'm getting sick again with something else. I was just saying here. But
Yeah.
what a week. What a week. I was not expecting what happened this week at all. We've got a shit ton to go over.
You should have been. You should have been. Because we keep getting told we're going to be more busier than we've been.
Yeah, well, that's what
they're
they
already
keep
ramping it up for us.
That's what they keep telling us. And you managed to get up early and watch the live stream thing this morning that I haven't seen, so we'll talk about that.
Not so live. Not so live.
Oh, it was pre-recorded, was it?
It was pre-recorded, though. Pre-recorded it. I got the impression that I pre-recorded it for the Xi'an Bar Citizen type thing, or in response to that, or something like that.
Oh, was it the Xi'an Bar Citizen just live? Because that would make sense, because that's what happened last weekend. So I'm wondering if that was did the questions line up with the ones we did on the weekend, Algared, at all?
Some did, some didn't, and no, because they were in the studio and John Crew was there.
Right. Oh, okay.
So it wasn't
right.
But the other thing was,
I got a feeling I need to go look at what's going on, because.
But the other thing was, Disco was saying he was thinking this would come out on the 14th or something like that. So
all right, Q&A, vehicle, gameplay, design, and balance. All right, so that's obviously going to be the one I'm going to have to watch later. Right. Okay. Okay. Right.
And it ranged all over.
Right.
But yeah. So anyway.
Well, we did have a lot of ships that came out this week, though.
Sneak peeks of, or flashes of them. Yeah.
Let's go through them. Why not? Right off the bat, kick the show off. Why not? I hate the name of this thing. Just gonna say, I think it is a really wasted opportunity. I think
your name was much better.
Well, there's a couple of names I like. The Wasp is a really interesting one, but I prefer. A lot of people say Mosquito needed to be saved for a big heavy fighter that was during World War II, but you could have gone Aussie and just called it the Mozzie. Because it's really, mosquitoes are really annoying and frustrating, and that fits Drake to a T. So I think calling it like doing an Aussie spin and just calling it the Drake Mozzie would have been really good.
I've got to cut in because Socially Confused, but Pitbull is an awesome name. It is. I've got to agree. It is an awesome name.
Just not for this.
But what we're saying is that it's a missed opportunity for a Drake ship. Like you have the Dragonfly.
Yeah.
So calling their fighters or their snub ships, and I think this really feels like a snub ship.
It is a snub ship, and that's the thing. Like, because it's so small, it's not what I would have called a pit bull. Like other people said, is like a Chihuahua. People literally said it would have been better called the Drake Chihuahua, and I agree. Like, it seems like a wasted. Like, if the cutter was a wasted name on the Reclaimer's snub, this is a snub, and that is a wasted name.
Yeah. Yeah, cannon fodder. Actually, Drake cannon fodder would have been cool. Yeah. But yeah, a Mozzie. I like the idea of a Wasp or the Mozzie because it draws that link.
You've only got to think back to where the Wasp almost attacked me, and that just settles the entire deal. If you remember where that happened a couple of weeks back.
That's why you're in fear of a Wasp. Socially Confused, and Mozzie is what an Australian would abbreviate mosquito to, because we like shortening everything.
Yeah. So it's just saying mosquito. Look at the we short everything with syllables, right? So we always cut syllables. So it's mosquito. So it's like 3 words, or Mozzie.
Yep.
That's how everything's syllable related. It's not the length of the word. It's syllables. So it says McDonald's. It's Macca's.
Yeah.
Just how it works. Instead of Algared, it's Al. Instead of Execute, it's X. That's just how it all works.
And you might shorten 3 to 2, but yeah.
I'll give you the flea.
Ankle biters are Socially Confused. They're children. They're not Mozzies. They're children. Ankle biters.
Flea's not bad. Drake Flea. I could say
Flea.
that. Yeah, I've heard someone say the tick, but I didn't like. Yeah, tick didn't work, but the flea I don't mind. That's pretty good. Because a flea's a parasite craft. You see where it's going? Like, it actually works as well. So, but I don't understand how we came up with so many better names in how long did that take us? Like 2 minutes?
5 seconds.
And they've had months.
Yep.
Yeah, something's all right. Something's all right there.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. And now I know it's a snub. I just go Fury and go, cool, thanks. On to the next one. There's not really much there that I really need to go over. Like, it's just like I'm.
Well, when you look at that snub, it is heavily armed. It is typically Drake. You know, 6. I'm guessing 6 size 1 missiles plus the 6 size 6 guns. That's a lot of firepower on a snub.
You could do it in a more professional way, Aaron. You could say it's the LTI token for the sale, because that's really.
And that's basically what I expect it's going to be. It's going to be the cheapo ship that we can use to upgrade to everything else.
If you really go through it, though, what it does have is a lot of new kit pieces that would lead on to other fighters, like a medium and a heavy for Drake. That is the positive takeaway. I think a positive takeaway is look at the new kit pieces, because they're all small. And there's a lot of new shit in there, like new wings, new cockpit. Someone even took the cockpit Algared and put it on the Buccaneer. Looked pretty sweet. Yeah.
Well, you know, when we saw the sneak peek the other week, you know, I looked at it and I thought, gee, that looks the size, you know, that looked NPUV size.
Yeah. I thought it was a bit taller, actually. I thought it was like a bit taller than the Golem, but no, it's sturdy. Like 3 meters long.
Hey, Grim, great to see you. If you're free, jump in. You know the routine. You don't need an invite.
He told me he was juggling, so I believe he's at the circus.
Circus today. Wait, are you a clown?
Yeah, he does look like a bit of a clown.
Anyway. No, some people would say it's a bit of a clown, but yeah.
Anyway, hope you're well, buddy.
But yeah, so definitely a snub. Certainly, you know, it gives up its cargo capacity for lots of weapons. So, and then the choice is, if it's for the ironclad, how many of those can you legitimately fit in the ironclad, like properly based on the grid? And then the choice is, as you pointed out, as we were talking during the week, why wouldn't you just take half a dozen light fighters? Because
more survivability and stuff like that. And then I also brought up the drone thing, and I did talk about that with Grim on his show yesterday. It's the same thing. Like, if they bring in a drone ship and say it's got a few less guns, but when the drone dies or you want to leave, you can just leave the drone behind and you don't lose the life of the pilot. I just think once all options are in the game, these things are going to completely drop off. Now, I can understand one, like a Merlin, to annoy so the main ship can get away. If someone wants to sacrifice their life, that's fine. But I don't see the need for a swarm of them. I know people want it to be a thing. And the other thing I was going to add is the Ironclad Assault now actually can do the vehicle ship repairs and vehicle. It's not just a vehicle thing. It's also ship. So that totally changes that ship to the point where I am now going, So we're going to have to really go in there and have a look at that when that drops, because that ship's role has now changed significantly. And I have to think of the Liberator. I think they were working on the Liberator and made changes to it, and that has made changes onto the Ironclad Assault, because they've looked back at it and gone, well, this was just ground. Look what we've just done to the Liberator. We need to fix this a little bit as well.
I wouldn't be surprised to find that type of stuff be done. I'm going to say start the bot while we remember, because I am seeing questions start to come in.
Okay,
but
stop your bitching.
In terms of snubs, I've flown a snub with the in company with a Connie. Now, Connies do have significant problems at the moment in that their parts aren't physicalized, so you can't actually repair them as they start to get damaged. But being out in the P52, it's amazing, or the P72, because it's got 4 lasers. It was amazing how good that was in supporting a Connie and enabling a Connie to take out the small ships around it.
Yeah.
Now, and it is that always that choice. It really did feel like one, and I mean, only attacking NPCs, but the thing was attack a ship attacking the mothership. It's got to make a choice. Do I just keep pressing home on the mothership and let the small ship just keep ripping into my rear, or do I turn and fight this small ship.
But there's other things though there too, Algared. Like this has got apparently it's got size 1s and size 2s. Can this even get through the armor of bigger ships once armor comes in? That's the other part of it, right? So you got to go both ways, right? Are you better to be in a bigger ship where you can get through the armor? Like it's a case by case basis, and taking all those ships, small little ships out in preparation, not knowing what you're going to run into, or you're going to take out a bigger ship that can handle more situations. See where I'm going? Like when you're unprepared, you're gonna prepare the best way you can, and that's not going to be a shit ton of these.
And that's, I agree, but I can also see if this is a snub ship, I would hope or expect that would be an ideal ship to put in a Kraken snub ship bay.
Yeah,
to drag that.
Well, they did say you can now fit Ursas in it, so if it can fit Ursas, then it can fit a couple of these. Yeah.
And do you take one of those in your Idris PTUV bay rather than a PTUV? And so, it does give options, and it does give out extra things. If you have one of these flying around, do they better support a engage like fighters and enable the other stuff to do?
Not with size 1 and size 2. I don't know. Look, as I said, I think there's enough reasons to not get snubs already. And I think it's only going to get worse. But that's just me. That's why I didn't buy a Fury. Why I didn't, the only one I've got that is a Merlin, and I use it as a little light racer. That's it.
Yep. And look, it really comes down to what we always say. It's a snub ship, which means it's tiny whiny.
Snubs, in my opinion, the only decent.
And we go buy big. Going down.
The only decent snub is the Merlin because it has a mothership. Until the Fury gets a proper mothership, I guess it kind of had one in the TAC, but it's not. You got one, right? That's not a multiple. It needed to have 3 or 4 of them, and it's the same thing here. Like if you're going to use the strength of the ship, which is numbers, then they need to have like a proper mothership. And until they do something like that, snubs are never going to be what they want them to be. I'm just factual.
So Grim says snubs are scooters. They get you from point A to point B, but they don't even do that very well because they don't have a quantum drive.
Yeah, and me and Grim talked about this on his show too. Like I want to see them do other things. Like a reconnaissance ones would be really good, right? More forms of utility. Like even a bomber one would work, right? You fly one in and drop a bomb, but they are all just combat.
The key thing that I did find when I've used the P52 and the P72, and you'll remember when we did Pirate Swarm back in the day when we did one where we just took defenders, and then we did one where we were in the snub ships. The snub ships seem, when you get hit when they hit you, you really feel it. But it seemed they had more difficulty hitting those small ships because their signatures were so small.
Again, imagine what it's going to be like when you bring flak in. You're going to be dodging shit because you're going to be putting clouds out there, and they're just going to fucking walk into AoE. They're going to go boop, 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 and be done. So again, there's a lot of things to come down the pipe, right? Like I'll say stuff and people think I'm crazy, like the Starlite. So it took a couple of years, and then people, I'm telling you, when they're all said and done, snubs are just going to not be utilized at all. There's just no reason to. You're putting when your life is so valuable in this game, and you've got so much rep grind on the line, this is an emergency escape pod at best. That's why I also suggested the Fury be turrets and they disconnect. Oh, the ship is about to explode. Bye. Like that's why I said it. Because that's the only time you're actually going to want to fly them. Like, oh shit, my bed's gone. Bye.
It certainly is a good value for a Fury turrets on a big ship.
I think AI Aeron says it pretty well. The Pitbull is really an NPC ship. Yeah, it'd be great to see a swarm of these come at you when you shoot them from a player perspective, but not as a player to be in one. I don't know. I just don't think they've been thought through. Again, I don't know who's doing it at CIG, but again, once drones come along,
we talked about that the other day as well. I can see drones coming, but I can't see them giving drones that same versatility that you see in a snub.
But you don't die. You know what I mean? So it's disposable. This is not disposable.
Yeah. And if they do that, then you're right. Snubs are dead. If I give you remote drones that you can fly and shoot things with, then Snubs are dead.
It's funny. It's like Tech Zero didn't watch our Hopium edition that we did on the ships. He said Fury on the Hammerhead. Well, we literally talked about Aegis doing their own snub, and the Hammerhead would make a really good variant to have the turrets detached because they are so separated out from the rest of the body, and they had those big tunnels where the turrets could go back into and repair and stuff like that. The Hammerhead would make a really good ship to modify, allow the turrets to detach. But no, alas, we're getting laser beam. But I will say, besides it looking like a Merlin, well, we're about to get up to the turbo and we'll talk to it when we get to it. You want to move on to the next one?
Yeah, we'll move on now. The M80.
Right. I'll let you go. Go for it.
It looks sexy. It's a fighter. It almost looks like a cross between the M80 and the...
It's Captain Obvious.
It looks like a cross between an M50 and a 85X.
Now, a guy worked out measurements on this thing. I'll see if I can find the image I had and open it. And they reckon it's as big as a Freelancer. Half a meter shorter than the Vanguard. Just give me a minute.
That's not a small ship.
No, it's not short at all. So this is the one that he used. So we're talking about the one in red. He based it on the size 4 or the size 5 gun, and then essentially used that as a yardstick to measure them and work out the meterage. Right. So the top one is most likely what it is
size
based
on
the size 4 guns. But if that's 38 meters long, that's exactly the same length as a Freelancer and 5 meters shorter than a Vanguard, which means it's officially Origin's first medium ship. But that is a big ship for a fighter.
Yeah, so
that's we're talking F8, so we're talking $300 type of thing. The Stinger was $315, so it's definitely going to be a pricey piece of kit.
Yep. So there's a lot of the chat is saying, they think the Top Gun is the correct size 5. I thought it was size 4s, and I didn't think it was size 5.
I thought it was in.
And I could be wrong.
Stop. From what I've seen, it's internal size 5s that come out and size 4s on the wings. That's what I ascertained. But maybe people ascertain differently. But yeah.
Look, it looks like a great ship, but it's a fighter. But if it is the size,
you trying to tell me you don't think they're going to make a racing variant of this? You've got rocks in your head. What's they going to do? Well, look what they do with the Guardian and the Guardian MX and all that type of shit. They're doing exactly the same thing with this.
Of course, there's going to be a racing variant of this. If they don't, it's Origin skipping on what is typically their bread and butter of ships they do. But if this is a medium-sized ship the size of a Freelancer, then I fully expect this to have that interior, which we were thinking it wouldn't have.
I reckon they've done it as an onboarding task, and they've done 2 or 3 of them. So there's 2 or 3 people that got used to the Origin experience, much like what the Saber Raven thing all over again. We've seen it before on other ships over the year. I have no doubt we're going to get at least 2 or 3 of these in different flavors. So, a racing one, probably. But I'm stressing cargo, but I don't know if I could. Did you see a cargo one?
Well, if it's a size,
yeah, maybe we only get 2 then, just a combat one and a racing one. Because I don't want them to do what they did with the MX. Because the MX was, hey, we got a combat one. Oh, by the way, here's a better combat one. Go fuck yourself. Like that.
I could
6 months later, it was just like, oh, by the way, fuck you.
I could possibly see a some form of scout. So strip the weapons out, put better dispensers on.
Okay, I'll give you that one. A stealth one maybe, but we don't have a stealth Origin ship yet. I do want to point that out.
And you could even go. This is the type of ship you could put some EMPs on. You could give it some data storage. You could give it.
What about an interceptor?
Light weapons.
Interceptor bounty. Interceptor bounty hunter.
This is the type of ship, though. You could actually almost do a Raven clone and give something very similar to a Raven in terms of abilities.
Algared, stop! Don't give them bad ideas. We don't want them clones.
Well, but you get what I'm saying. the Raven capabilities in the ship is something that people always want.
Look, okay, I'll give you this. If they call it the Crow, I'll allow it. Origin Crow. Because we've got the Raven, we need the Crow.
Well, that'd be a messenger ship. Crows are always messengers. Right.
I don't know. There's not much. Look, I know this is going to appeal to a lot of people that are into the Origin, but for me, it's the same thing as the other. It's the reason I didn't get a Stinger. It's not an Origin thing. It's just the role thing. It just doesn't appeal to me at all. It is the epitome of what's wrong with fighters in this game. It's just too expensive. Like what for $50 more, you can literally get an Endeavor right now, or a Crucible, or you got a Reclaimer at $400. Like there's just so many better ships. Even behind it, there are better ships, right? For your money. And I'm just it's my main problem with Fleet Week Defense Con is it's just all attack all the time. There's only one new ship coming that isn't combat, and that's the next one we're going to talk.
Yep. Now, one of the things with this that does tie in with the Star Citizen Not So Live video was they did talk about, there was a question about the wheels, to which John Cruz said, Chris Roberts asked me exactly the same question. When are we getting wheels that actually work on our ships that have wheels? And I have a feeling it was kind of this was the ship that kind of
got a lot of wheels on that back.
That question.
Why has it got three wheels on the back? I don't understand why it's got three on each thing.
It kind of feels like the Vanguard feel. You remember Vanguard when it first came out? It had the tractors on the back and the wheels on the front, and then it went to wheels and then kind of back to tractors.
So it's a weight thing.
Kind of feels like that.
Are they trying to tell me that this has a fat ass? That's what I feel is happening.
Clearly,
She's got a big butt, right? Well, she's got a big butt. She's only got 2 in the front and 6 in the back. What does that tell you? She's a heavy baby in the back girl.
She's a heavy girl. She's a heavy girl. But the 2 at the front also give that impression of extra weight. So you've got the M50, which is like 1 and 1 at the back. Yeah. This is heavier. But that discussion also brought into wheels for vehicles and the way they want that to work and the problem with planets and all the rest of it. So, but yeah, they do want to have the wheels working on our ships so you can actually use them elsewhere and have that running aspect. So, yeah. Okay.
That'll bear other fruit to it, I reckon, as well. All right, the Starlight. Oh, wait, sorry, Starlight. Yeah, a lot of people are liking the look of this one, ironically. I will freely admit I do like the look. A little question I have that kind of came to mind for me straight away, and I'll ask you the same thing and see if this does the thought thing for you. The red paint stripes that are all over it. You ever seen that on this ship before?
I feel like I have, but I can't pick it.
Nope, it hasn't. And what do the red stripes naturally in your mind stand for? What's keep going. You'll get there.
Redbacks.
What do they put them on in our society in real life right now?
Oh, emergency vehicles, ambulances.
There you go.
Police cars.
And I think that's here because it's an emergency refueler, right? And I think we might actually see a red paint from this ship. Think about all the ones we've been getting. They're all that same pitty Hull C like ones that have all been kind of mert and. But we might actually get something more along the line of what the C8R had, or because it's a bit more industrial than some of the others. So I'm hoping that we actually get some emergency refueler colors and stuff like that. A roadside assist, like you get where I'm going, right? So I actually think it could have some really cool skins for this one on the side. But I've never seen those red lines, and I sat there and I was something about this ship, and then it just popped into my head it's the red stripes. And I went back and looked. There is no ship that I can see from the MISC lineup that has red lines.
Well, certainly not in MISC. You see it on other ships.
Yes, in the medical ones, but not on the MISC. And again, it's not a life-saving medical like fully red, but it's enough to go, what is that? But what do you think of the design of it, Algared? It's pretty. A lot of people are calling it Chungus. I actually like how rotund it looks.
I like it. It's of the ships that have come out that we've looked at so far. This is the one that probably appeals most. But that's probably also because when I play MMOs, I'm usually the support player. I'm usually the healer or the crowd control. You know, I'm usually the guy at the back doing stuff rather than the up front.
It's like I said, it's the only one that isn't a combat ship, right? It's something different. And something Bob said that was really interesting. Can you imagine this ship? So if I zoom in, right, it's probably a bit easier with these ones up here. But can you imagine this thing if you can take the fuel tanks out? Like how cool that will look? It actually would look pretty cool.
And given that cargo changes the light models of ships, would having those containers out impact the flight model of your ship?
Actually, there's something I need to bring up with you too that someone pointed out. You know how we were talking about how wouldn't it be cool if they were compatible with the ones on the Starfarer? Do you remember where we were talking about that? And I said that they look different. What if they are different, but they are the new ones for a new Starfarer?
Yeah, that's a fair cop.
And it would make this ship rather interesting because it means it could go out to the Starfarer and actually deliver pods to it and then take the empty ones back. So that actually does give it another role. It also allows it to do not just liquid and gas transport, but it's obviously got 2 pods to also refuel someone as well. In both quantum
that ties in with
what's the other one? Quantum and
hydrogen.
Yeah.
So one of the things that also, like, I think is vaguely related because you've got, so Austin was talking about, you know, the refueling is coming in 4.8. So you've got the Starfarers being reworked and you've got another refueling ship, the Starlite, which hadn't been announced at the time they were recording. But they did talk about the Starfarer having a refinery and refinery being its own, literally they said, its own profession. So being a fully fleshed out profession. So not just, the impression I got was, even though they've said, there's no plans to do the improvement of stuff, there did seem to be that way of where just spending all your time doing a refinery would be a profitable and enjoyable experience. And I can't see that without that ability to upgrade or produce better quality materials.
So before it goes off the screen, D Money's said Starfarer rework, and that's kind of where I'm at too. Like, it's another one on the list now as the freelancer and the Connie. If you were going to do another refueler, they've already worked on one MISC one. You see where I'm going? I think the Starfarer has to be added to that list now, because they said they're Mark IIing another older ship. Just saying, if you're looking at priority order,
and
refueling it kind of moves the needle on Starfarer all of a sudden.
Yep. And based on that, John Crew in the Star Citizen Almost Live said the Caterpillar is not being Mark II'd.
Ooh. Well, that sucks. Might be time for me to get rid of it.
No. Because he said, as they did one of the things they did as they were doing the capsules is they realized, how old the ship is. And it is going to be gold standard, and it is going to get modules.
Is it growing? Because it really needs to grow. Those rooms are too small.
It'll get gold past, but it will get modules.
I've held on to it for all this time. I'll hold on to it, but it doesn't mean I won't get rid of it when it comes. If it comes out and it's shit, I'll just bye. See you later.
Look, it confirms what they haven't changed what they told us in 2024.
Yeah.
The Caterpillar is still coming. The modularity for the Caterpillar is still there. Nothing has changed in that regard.
I'll say now, John.
I never said.
John and Ben, if you're watching this, we want to sit down for a virtual lunch again. We got a lot out of it. We know you guys got a lot out of it. If you want to have a lunch, reach out. Twitter, email, whatever. Reach out. We want to sit down for another virtual lunch, and catch up, because that was I don't know. We're still talking about it to this day, aren't we, Algared?
Oh, it was great. It was awesome.
But knowing them, they won't even watch this, so it'll be fine. Anyway.
No, that's right. And then we'll get a message in chat. What do you mean we won't watch this?
Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. A lot of people at CIG at the moment are very hush-hush. And Grim would like to come too. So I know Ben and Grim, But we're just going to keep calling it out until you reach out and tell us to piss off.
Is it any wonder that Star Citizen Squadron Citizen, the CIG staff are being tight-lipped. It's not, you've got Squadron 42 coming.
Let's not go about Squadron 42 because we have to talk about that after this. We're getting sidetracked. But
yeah.
Right. Tiburon. Now, I have more questions about this than anything because it's such a large ship. We don't know enough about the interior. And I could say the same thing about the Starlite, by the way. Just not as expansive. It's clearly for one person. The Starlite, you can see the elevator there, and there's probably living quarters in the back. There might be a room in the back as well for you to control the refueling. So I've had people suggest it could have 2 decks. That also explains why there's an elevator. So I could see it having 2 decks as well. One for where you control the refueling and one for where you sleep or something like that, right? So, or vice versa, right? So that we can only speculate on, but we're obviously going to see this hopefully on Monday. We might even see some of these ships. Wrong. This is very clearly a Perseus competitor, but it's a glass cannon Perseus because it just doesn't quite have the same defenses in my book. Yes, it's got some manned turrets, 3 of them, but only 2 of them can shoot forward. And I think that, well, it sounds weird, but there is a weird blind spot for a fighter in front of the ship. You know what I mean? Like you might get hit by the size 7s or the railgun, but it's probably safer there than it's anywhere else, if you know what I mean. It's a really weird ship, and I'm going to have to see the internal layout as well. Like, how do you get into the pilot seat, which is underneath, when the entire front section has now got essentially a log laser that goes right across the top of that area? And the only thing I can think of is like 2 stairs that go down into it, or you go completely down the back from where the captain's room is and down a tunnel to the captain's to the cockpit. So there's only it's definitely got some restructuring, is what I'm trying to say, to pull it off. But that's the mystery on this one for me. Instead of a railgun, it's got a laser, so I've got to assume it's better at taking out shields. So if you're up against a big ship, aka Idris or whatever, it's going to help with stripping shields. Where the Perseus itself, I imagine, would be a lot better at the hard points, depending on the guns you put on it and stuff like that.
Lasers are better at melting armor.
Oh, really? I thought it was the other way around. I thought lasers were good at shields. Okay.
No, lasers, according to what they said, I think Thurston said in the video today.
Really? Wow.
Lasers are better at taking out armor.
It's never been that way so far. It's been
there was a question about that.
Yeah, okay, cool. But it's been lasers for years on shields and ballistics on hulls. So if they're changing that, that's strange to me. That's a reversal of what they've been previously.
So that's one of the things I thought. Oh, okay, because I was talking about the way, like, the balance of ships, and they said, and one of the problems they got whenever they try and balance a ship is you change something here, and the knock-on effect is just massive.
Also got the size 7
penetrate better.
Also got the size 7 guns off the Idris on the front there, with modified remote turrets that only have 1 gun that look a bit weird in my book. I would have liked to have seen a more dedicated remote turret that was designed for 1 gun rather than jerry-rigging one just to hold 1 gun. But that's just me.
Yep.
I reckon they're going to definitely do a shark skin, much like the Idris. I think that's a given.
That Idris shark skin, I could see that fitting on it perfectly. Yeah. It fits better than...
I also suggested a baby shark skin. You know that really annoying song, Baby Shark, and doing like a kid's one. I think that'd be funny, just a piss take.
Yep.
And it would be pretty funny to get taken out by a baby shark. I just think that's pretty funny. But we'll wait and see. I get the feeling that they're not going to allow people to jump from hammerheads to this, but I could be wrong. If it comes out and you can jump from a hammerhead, that's not a good sign for hammerheads. It makes me think it's a ship they kind of want to leave behind, or they realize the design flaws of it. But if you can't upgrade to it, that's a good sign for the hammerhead, because that means they're going to keep it around. We'll see what happens in price wise. But again, being $725 for the hammerhead, this is going to be a steep investment.
Yeah, I agree with Grim. I'd have preferred to have seen the Nautilus rather than this, but it does intrigue a little.
But the Nautilus,
I think the reason
the Nautilus is not in Squadron 42, and they had the gold pass, they had the head for Squadron 42,
and
that's why you've got this.
And the problem the Nautilus has is it's got the drones for dumping off, the mines and stuff. Yeah. So it's got drones for retrieving mines and repairing them.
Well, we'll go over the drones and stuff when we go over the stuff that you found out in that Q&A today. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. Last but not least, the Angular or the Odin. It almost looks like a flying anvil. Ironically,
it does.
Made by Anvil, flying anvil. Grim sent me a photo that I woke up to. And it was this photo, and my first thought was that's a flying battle cruiser from space. What is it, Yamato or whatever? And I went, they just recracked. They just crackened it. So the Kraken, they made an aircraft carrier that flew. They've just made a battle cruiser that flew, and I don't have a problem with that, and I think it will be rather popular.
Not quite the battleship Yamamoto, but yeah, it's got that feel, and I think that it's that the bridge kind of. The tower gives it that real modern feel.
I would ask what the hell this big massive thing is on the bottom, but I think it's going to be rather dead.
A big massive railgun.
Well, we've also got these two angular things here that make me think that there's some big guns there as well. The other thing that you might find of interest, Algared, is do you notice anything about this screenshot? I'll see if you pick up on it.
I'll
give you a clue. I'll give you a clue. Where is it? Unlike other capital ships, like if it was a Javelin, what would be happening to the Javelin right now?
Oh, it'd be getting shot up.
No, the Javelin would be crashed. It's in atmosphere with VTOL. Javelin can't go in atmosphere.
A Javelin has VTOLs. It just can't land.
It can land once and only once. But the fact that it's in atmosphere is kind of weird. Javelins were like, remember what they said about Javelins. Javelins are not designed to fly in atmosphere. They are a space-faring ship only.
And I'm going to bet this will be in the same boat. Javelins still have VTOLs.
Again, it's a picture that shows that it's in atmosphere. That I just want to point that out. Either this is law broken, or it shows that it's got some kind of functionality where it can go in. Man, if it can go into atmospheres, that's bloody crazy. Because that means it's going to literally go in and destroy bases. That's crazy to me.
If it's at Orison, then any capital ships can go to Orison, because Orison was
true.
Originally the Navy's capital shipyard.
Yep.
Until they sold it off.
I'll give you that. Or it's another location like that. But it does look like it's in atmosphere, so we'll have to wait and see.
So I just think, it's Orison. I keep saying Olisar, but my view is it's just everyone's
saying it's not in Atmo. It's in a dust cloud or so. Yeah, it could be. I'll give you that, guys. But I just thought I'd bring it up because it's got that massive VTOL on it. Which is I found rather interesting because it implied to me that it was in atmosphere. If I'm wrong, I will as always I will freely admit that I'm wrong, but it was just something that I thought was interesting, at least possibly tangible.
I thought that just looked like a tail fin, like it's an Aegis or an Anvil tail fin type thing that you often see on their ships. But
I could see it. Like there's some on the Kraken like that. So yeah, okay, I could possibly give you that. Yes, true.
That's what I just saw. I didn't see VTOLs, and I couldn't see a big ship.
I wonder if this is called the Spear, and these are the two Ravens or Crows that he had. I wonder if they actually have gone in and named some of the turrets after the Allfather. It'll be really interesting to see if they've done that. I think this part here that looks directly like it's ripped off the World War II battlecruiser is going to sell a lot of people on this ship. I think the other thing is I think they've deliberately picked this screenshot because you can't see the width of it. I also think it's a lot wider than it appears. I think
she's a fat girl.
Well, as well as I do, Algared, any anvil ship is essentially a triangle from above with a circle motif. Now, that's your circle motif, which is what this headpiece is sitting in. Now, imagine this like a giant diamond. Think of the Carrack and all that we've seen before.
Yeah.
The giant diamond. I guarantee it. I'd bet money on it.
No, I could see that.
And you can kind of see how the sun hits this little wing that's popping out here as well. So that kind of tells me there's a diamond shape to it.
Look, I could see that, because if you've got a diamond shape and if you've got weapons on each corner, they're actually covering each other without blocking. So.
All right, so yeah, we'll learn more about this when it goes on sale, but I think there are going to be a lot of people that were unsure about writing their essay.
Who are going to be writing an essay and trying to get one? Yes,
I've had so many people talk to me. And it's like I said about the essay. I said, don't worry about it. There were people. Just listen. There were people that wrote essays for the Kraken, right? And there were people that did like multiple pages. And actually, was it Grim? I think it was Grim was talking to me, and he had a friend that wrote multiple pages, and he got like in wave 4 or 5. And then he had another friend that wrote Gib Kraken, and that was his entire essay, and it was in wave 1. So they're not checking your essays. They're just think about the people in Q&A or customer support sitting there. They're not going to read them all. They're just going to go tick, 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 tick. They're going to see, oh, he wrote in an email. Tick. They're not even going to check.
And look, they may check, right? They may read some of them just for it at last. But one of the things in terms of the Kraken waves, I got told, oh yeah, we put you in this wave because it's your time zone.
There you go.
Right, so they'll put people in waves based on time zone, and it's basically, and with a Kraken, basically, if you had a time zone,
I don't think they're going to be waves, Algared. I think they're just going to assign one per person type of thing. I think if you have access, it's just going to allow you to buy one for that week or whatever.
That's what they did with the Kraken. Yeah. The waves in the Kraken were basically your time zone slots to buy, and in that time zone slot, you could buy your Kraken.
Yeah.
And it was. You know, that's certainly what I was told it was with the Kraken.
Yeah.
At the time, I don't expect this to be any different from the way they did the Kraken. I hope it's not limited window. And
well, you've got 2 days left.
X number sold. You know,
you've got 2 days left to sign up for the Odin. May 3 days, May 11th, because we're in the future. Yeah. Yeah,
and that is a big question.
It is a big question. Can you get it with credit? And I think it could go either way at this point.
Look, I think when they did the Kraken, you could buy it with cash, and again, it was cheaper if you bought it with cash. But I think you could buy it with credit. But I'm going on memory.
I do hope they also give an option to upgrade the Javelin for people. I think that would be a really awesome option. A CCU from a Javelin to this would be, and only because they promised Javelin people that it was going to be the biggest ship you could ever buy, right? And when you make a promise like that, then you need to back it up and give something in return. And it would be nice rather than asking them to melt it.
It would be nice. It would be nice to give that upgrade option. And Premaster says, you could buy the Kraken with credit. So that just confirmed that. So I think it's going to be exactly the same. I don't see it being any different.
I hope so, because it makes it a lot more tangible for people that, have a Javelin and stuff like that. They need to make it a little bit. You're talking a lot of money, like $3,000 is a lot of money for a virtual item.
Oh, I know.
Right? And then, let's be honest, if it is double the volume, does that mean double the price? You get where I'm going, right? So we've said 5K, but I'm telling you now, 6K is not out of the realm of possibility. Which is just
insane.
And that's US dollars, right? If I was talking Australian dollars, that is a literal high-end PC.
Like 12?
No, that's well, in taxes it would be 12 for us, right? But what I'm trying to talk about is for 6K here in Australia, right? You can get a super high-end PC. I'm talking like probably not a 5090, but a 5080, right? And all the bells and whistles, which is kind of what I got. That's before the prices increases, because it'll probably be even more now. But again, if I go back to US dollars, at 6,000 US dollars, that is a really high-end PC. That would be a 5090, and all the bells and whistles. That is for a virtual item that one day Those ones and zeros will be zeros, right? So that is you got to remember that. Eventually, this will not exist. You might be dead and buried, but at some point, it becomes zeros.
At some point, Star Citizen will be like every other game. It'll be gone. It may last.
I'm telling you now,
decades.
if I find you, whoever you are, and you buy one of these, and your PC is not better than mine, we're gonna have words. Don't buy this if you have a shit PC. Buy the PC first.
Yeah.
And I think anyone that was a money person, I can hear Paul in my ear. Yourself would say the same thing. This is something you buy as a luxury item, and I'd much rather see people with orgs buy these. And I think even you, Algared, would say, I know you've got the Pokemon thing where you've got to collect them all, but if you didn't have an org to back you...
this is an org thing.
Yeah, but if you didn't have the org to back you, you wouldn't be buying this, would you? I would be pressuring you not to buy it. I'm not pressuring you to buy it or not to buy it right now. But if we weren't in the org that we're in, I would be like, Algared, no. No.
Look, it's an org chip. It's the same. Getting this is exact. Like, it may not be as the Javelin was originally pitched as basically a ship, but was run down, mothballed, stripped of its military weaponry, and all the rest of it for an org to be able to build up. But it's an org ship. It was a ship that was designed for orgs to be able to use. This is exactly the same. But there's no difference. If you are thinking you're taking this solo, you're an idiot. If you're thinking you're taking with a party of 2 or 3, you're an idiot. Well, it's an org ship. It's for the raid.
And you're only really going to use it on, well, again, it's a battle cruiser. You're going to have to look after it all the time. But most combat ships are really only going to be really heavily utilized on the weekends, like raids and WoW and stuff. So it's going to be a full-time thing. Protect this thing. I'm very interested about Pissball Pete because he showed interest in one. I want to know, Pete, did this convince you to get one or not? He reckons he's going to be able to...
he's telling me no.
No, he's telling you no.
Pete's telling me no, so...
But
that's because he wants one,
Pete, has this swayed you to get one at all? I'm curious. Are you more in the get it now lane or the not get it now lane? Let us know. Right. It is basically a flying space station. Yeah, you're not wrong there.
Yep. It is in that sense. It's no different from what I always said the Endeavour was. The Endeavour, I've always said, was a flying space station. Same as the Kraken in that regard. It's just a very, very big space station.
Do you want to go over the Q&A?
Yeah, we can kind of talk about the Q&A. Yep. I'll just check just make sure none of the questions actually relate to those things.
Pete's not going to get one, by the way.
He answered?
Yeah, he did. He's seen sense. Right.
Oh, it appeals. It appeals. All right. So the very first, I did start taking notes. They did talk about fighters and things and stuff and how you balance fighters. And they talked about the knock-on effect of. All right, Stars. I'll answer this question from Stars Citizen Ninja. My Odin essay said, I would like basically I want an Odin. I backed the game, but I don't have a need for 3 javelins. That was my essay. Okay. Total of my essay. I backed the game for orgs, etc., but I don't need 3 javelins. So let me get an Odin instead. All right. But where I did start taking my notes, I got about 3 or 4 pages of notes from the video because this is obviously stuff we should talk about on our show. The very first thing was one of the things that I did see chat mention earlier, and someone said, I have to stop talking about teleporting. Now, teleport feature is probably the wrong word. Teleport, fast travel. They do want a means to make it easy for people to group up because that's one of the problems that people have. Even they feel that problem. It's the impression I got. John Cruz said, looking across at first, and as he said, some people don't, he says some people don't have 3 hours or more to do gameplay, and Hurston's sitting there giggling away and smirking, and John saying, some people only have an hour. And so you want to make it so that you can condense that time, make it easier for people to join up.
Can I interrupt you there just before we move on from the Odin? This week's sneak peek, and it says weaponry of the gods. I think that's one of the turrets.
If that's not an Odin weapon,
one of the really big turrets, and it looks like a concept image if you can see the colors in the background. So we'll probably see this image again come when they talk about the Odin at more length. But yeah, that looks like a massive turret to me.
That is a massive. That is an ammo feeding reel.
Yep, it literally looks like a turret that fires torpedoes.
It's a 272 turret. Yeah. Hit that turret.
I want a ship that just fires warlocks. You know, just. But yeah, again, if it is a turret that fires torpedoes, that is pretty crazy. So yeah. Anyway, continue, Algared.
So the teleport stuff is something that ability to reduce your travel time so you can actually get together with your mates. Right, that's the key thing they're talking about. Now, several things I did hear them saying is, and they're still trying to work out what the hell they're doing. Right? I'll get to that point. Socially confused, because they didn't say that, but I'll get on it. But they did talk about, in the past, they have talked about the way you do that was you'd be able to agent smith into the community called it agent smithing. So that term came from the community in terms of picking up that matrix idea of being able to swap into an NPC and take over the NPC. Now, CIG said that in 2013 as a way that you would be able to group your parties up. They haven't talked about that for ages. They didn't mention agent smithing particularly in the Q&A. But what they did talk about was we're discussing opportunities and ways you can actually group up. If you fly there, you will have advantages over someone who is teleported. Now, to me, that says when I teleport, I'm taking over an NPC. And I've then got kind of the abilities or skills or the equipment the NPC's got, not my own equipment. Now, I could be totally wrong in that assessment, in that thought process, but that is what I hear them kind of thinking. And it's also what I vaguely remember them saying back in 2013, that if you agent smith into someone, you've kind of got their equipment rather than just kicking them off and having your own equipment. So it'll be interesting to see where they go with that. Time to play matters. And so, as John Crew said, time to play matters, and it's a quality of life thing they want to bring in.
There's someone from CIG messaged me in the background that is saying that the Odin's guns have guns. I just want to bring that up. So yeah, I'm now want to look at this more, but yeah,
Odin's guns have guns.
Yeah, that's scary. So this thing is armed to the teeth, is what I'm saying. But again, you can't really see it so much in the image, so I think I'm gonna kind of wait a bit and just see what comes out with the Odin. And again, it's out of my price range. If I had that money, I'd spend it on something else. I wouldn't spend it on an Odin. Well, if you're getting one, I don't need one. You're gonna need me, Algared. You're gonna have to pay me to be on that ship.
I'm gonna need red shirts. That's right.
I'm not a red shirt. I'm a black
as
shirt.
You keep telling me. No, you'll be a you'd be the blue or gold or the.
Just put. I'll just put you in the captain's lounge and I'll just control the ship. It'll be fine.
Yeah, pretty much. Admittedly, lots of capital ships' guns have guns now.
Yes.
To be fair. Now, in relation to the chat, I did see someone said in terms of the agent smithing, or that disability if you teleport to group up, and they even talked about the idea of you do it in your hangar before you move out, that type of stuff. And this is something they have not said how they're doing it. They just know it's something they want to do and need to do to enable groups to better be able to link up. Now, one of them said, if you're giving a disability...
Do you know how easy it would be for me to stop you from getting an Odin?
How?
Who would I talk to that would stop you?
Yeah, you could. You could.
He knows. He knows. He's figured it out. Yes, that's exactly who I would talk to. You'd be in so much fucking trouble.
if I'm spending new money, yes.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah. I know. But you'd be in so much trouble. Oh, that's so good. I'm so glad you picked up on that. Anyway, I won't elaborate. But yeah, he knows how to do it. That's great. I love that.
The key advantage with that teleporting idea in a negative is you've got to make a choice. But if you're teaming up with your group, and yes, you're fast traveling, teleporting, whatever method they call it. Whether it's agent smithing into an NPC, that's it, whatever it is. What that does is it retrieves your time. So it's a tool for groups at a time, Paul, that are spread out.
Rim was suggesting you link it to beds. So you can essentially you get into a bed and then you get out of another bed. So you kind of like teleport through the beds. I could see that working that way.
They may do that. We don't know how they're doing it. They talked about whether they do it as you go to the hangar, whether you're ported to the hangar, whether it's agent smithing, whether it's, they just know they need to do something, or they want to do something that makes it a quality of life improvement for people who are time poor. You don't want to spend, if you got 2 hours play, you don't want to spend, or an hour's play, you don't want to spend 30 minutes getting to your location and then 15 minutes flying to the mission. That's an insanity. So they're looking at that aspect, because not everyone has 3, 4, 5 hours to put in a game session.
I just had a little idea I want to run by you. Can you imagine, I don't know how to word this, right? And I'm not going to use the battle cruiser, but can you imagine, say it was the Bengals, right? And the Bengals were pre-named by CIG. And so when you take over a Bengal, it's the UEE crucifixion or whatever the name they use, right? I think that'd be kind of interesting. So you don't actually get to pick the name. Like it's so again, imagine if you brought a battle cruiser and they go, this is the one we're giving you, this is its name, and it came with like a little lore thing. It's like this is why it was called this is its history. I think that'd be really cool, especially if you're getting $5,000. So the lore team has just sat there and write the lore for like 100 different battle cruisers or whatever. That'd be really cool in my book. But I don't know. How would you feel about that if you didn't get to pick the name of your ship and you were just given one?
Given one that had a deep lore tied to it?
Yeah. I know you would appreciate the lore thing, but I don't think everyone would.
I would appreciate that. Yeah, look, I'd appreciate something like that. Was kind
But if they gave you the, UEE Quasimodo, you probably wouldn't be too happy.
It depends. What's the lore of a Quasimodo? What has a Quasimodo done in the past? What is the
You know who Quasimodo is, right? Just we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know. It's a hunchback. I know.
But I just think that could be a really interesting tie-in. You are spending a lot of money. What if they actually pre-name them? That could be kind of cool.
Yeah, pre-name them and give you this lore that goes with it.
Yeah, and they could even do different factions. Like, so this one is from this part of space, and this one's from this part of space. Yeah. And at one point, it got taken over by pirates or something. And so, and then you could even have ones where they go through and there's things in it that are laid out a little differently because the pirates came in and they modified things. Like, that could be kind of cool, and it would validate the expense. And really, it's just a texture change, but it would be kind of cool.
It'd be the type of thing that'd have to tie in with the aesthetic options, and I'd like to think about doing something like that. But you actually got a choice of the aesthetic options.
Well, again, if you pick the aesthetic options, and then you got from a pool of ones that are in that thing. But again, if you came late to the party, some would be sold off. Where I'm going, right? Like, it could be really interesting if it was done in a more thematic way. I don't know.
I could see them doing something like that. There's elements of pluses and minuses. If you were changing them in terms of being theme based in terms of the lore, you'd need to give people, I think, an option to buy or change that aspect.
You just said options, and you reminded me of something. Remember the poll I wanted to do? We'll do that after this. But remember the poll? Yeah, we'll do the poll after this.
But then you're looking at like I see chats going off about the the teleport options. Look,
it's been around for a really long time, boys.
It had been, they talked about this in 2013. One of the things they talked about, and even linking the options for people who wanted to have people port to their location or do stuff. One of the options they tossed around at one point was the extra game packs. If you've got extra game packs on your account, then those characters could be used as characters that would be teleported into or clone jumped into, or whatever you want to call it. But CIG have not determined how they're going to do this method of enabling groups of people who are scattered across the verse to get together. Right, you have troubles at the moment, even in Stanton doing it and getting your groups together. And if you've got people in Pyro and Nyx and Stanton, it's even worse.
Yeah.
And so,
let's be honest, it's a game that really does not appreciate your time right now. It really, really doesn't, and it needs to be one that does so. I
have played Eve. I hated Eve, and I'm sure the people in Star Citizen in CIG have also played Eve. And one of the things they want to do, and one of the things Chris has always wanted to do, is you and your mates are able to get together and have a session together. And if you're spread over the universe, you can't do that. And so having that method, that tool, whatever it ends up being, to be able to get your group together for that gameplay before you disappear and go your own way away, that is what they're going to do. And they'll work something out. I don't know how they'll do it, but my gut says it's going to be tied to the old agent smithing thing, or it's going to be tied to those extra NPCs, or it'll be tied to bed. They'll do something. It's a matter of working out the way to do things. And yeah, they could do other things as well, but the way they've always talked about it and the way that got stuff was that, it was an agent smithing or a teleporting system.
No, it's something they're going to have to.
Now
they've gone back to the something true and tested. Anyway, go ahead. And
Piss Poor Pit point is accurate in terms of what I even think they talked about back in the day. The reason it was agent smithing is because you teleported to the location, and then when the mission was over, you were back where you began. And so, I tend to think they'll stick with it. Do I know whether they're going to stick with it? No, I have no idea. I have no idea what they're going to say. I can only go on what I heard them, how they were talking about it today. And, Thurston was very clear on, we're talking about it, but I can't really answer and talk about how we're doing this because it's something we're still working on. And John Cruz said, it's basically something we need to do because of the differences in ability, the time people have.
Okay.
So how are they going to do it? Don't know.
Anything else from the Q&A you want to go over, or you kind of done?
Oh, the other things that popped up. One of the things that I did find rather funny was the number of times they said buildings come first because they lead into everything else. The number of times they talked about, drones. Well, drones come with buildings. Buildings enable us to do this, and then the stuff you do with buildings, you hit a refinery, you put in a building, and then you're doing a ship.
They're copying what we said.
And I thought, gee, that's what we've been saying. It feels like for the last year and a half, 2 years, as it makes sense. The second you realize that buildings are just containers and ships are containers, I can put everything in a building and try it out and then transport it into anything else. It just becomes a no-brainer, and you go, yep. And a number of times it seemed like they talked about that. It was just bang. And then vehicles, same thing. Oh, well, at distribution centers were the first iteration of that, and then that has flow-on effects because the vehicles don't travel the land because the beautiful planets are so full. So you've got to change the physics on the vehicles so they don't bounce all over the place. But we need to fix that, and so everything has a follow-on effect. That's probably the key thing. Every time you fine-tune something here, it has an impact down the road, and so there's that constant reiteration and reworking. And It'll be no different from any MMO you've ever played.
Yeah.
You know, any MMO you've played, new patch, things are being balanced, new level, new class comes in, everything gets balanced. And the class you enjoyed playing the most, you've got to reset everything, or you decide, no, I don't like it anymore. It's no different. It'll be no different.
I'm just preparing some things in the background for those of you who can't tell. Algared is feeling dead air. He's very good at it. While I'm getting this stuff organized in the background for this vote, I just need a little bit more time. I'm almost done. And what we're going to be voting on is I've been preparing for DefenseCon. Now there's a couple, like Grim's seen these, Pissball Pete's seen these, John Citizen's seen these, you've seen these. I've gone through a whole bunch of them, but I can't get a consensus from people. So I thought I'd just put it to chat and get you guys to help me pick, because you guys have to see these thumbnails anyway. And last when we Invictus, when we did one, I did the flag thing, and it tracked really well, not very well for the first couple of days, because people didn't realize it was from us. I didn't realize that so many people look for the hexagons. I just thought you look for the Inforunners logo, but no, apparently you guys look for the for that. So
our brand logo,
and that really threw me. You know, again, something I learned and adjust. But it is a creative outlet for me, and it's not. I don't get to do it very often. So I'm going to go through them. I was meant to do. Yeah, that'll be fine. Right. So this is the first one I've done. Oh no, that's not the first one. That's the last one. So this is the first one I've done. All you're looking at here is the template on the side. They all just have the same hammerhead image. Don't worry about the hammerhead. It's just for test purposes. Yes. And I had lots of different ones.
Stuff above X's head.
Yeah, I got to try a bunch of different images to make sure a template works with. But I just used the hammerhead because that was the one that was in Photoshop just now, right? So you're looking at the stuff on the side. Here's the second one, and here's the third one. So the third one is basically a direct rip of what they did, right? And I just removed the number because the numbers drive me nuts. They make no sense. They're made up, and you know, I put 2026 there before that, right? And then this one's more like ours, and then this one is also based on one of the banners they have in the show. So if you put all three together, we'll do a poll, and it'll just be 1, 2, and 3, right? And so I'll do a poll on both, and you can just tell me really quickly what one you prefer, which oh god, capitals on which now I can't type. Now, do you prefer or defense on question mark 1, 2, add option 3, and then I'll do the same thing on little old Twitch over here. All right, starting both polls now. Let me know your thoughts. What one you prefer, and whatever comes out as a clear consensus, because I went through 3 or 4 people, and usually that gives me a very clear direction. I didn't have a clear direction. Oh, 1 ahead on YouTube. 1 is jumping ahead on and 3. Oh shit, it's all over the shop. Ah, come on guys, you need to give me a consensus. It's split between 1 and 3 at the moment. Interesting. Very interesting. Because 2 of the people I talked to preferred 2, and 2 is clearly now the least popular. Wow. I'm glad I did this now. Algared, your mouth's moving, your hands going around, but they're not. I can't hear anything.
Turned my mic off because I was coughing before.
Oh, okay.
But I prefer number 1. Number 1 for me has better brand recognition for us.
Well,
it looks close to our cubes. But
unfortunately, if you look at the poll, it's number 3. So I might take the third one and play with it a little bit, and I'll merge it with number 2 just a little bit to make it more ours. But that was literally just a direct rip of theirs. I had to reconstruct the whole background behind the bottom part to remove the numbers. well, it was a bitch. It took me longer than anything. But once I did it, I was able to remove the numbers.
But I agreed, Raisin. Number 1 has a nice pop to it.
And it does look more like us. That is for sure. But yeah, we got about a 10% lead on both, more than 10% on Twitch. So it's literally 50% for number 3.
I would see why they're liking number 3 is it's narrower and smaller.
No, I think it's just it looks like the official shit. I think it's that simple. Apparently there's a hype train.
I'm just going on what some of the chat have said, that they thought it was the sidebars on 1 and 2 look too wide.
Oh, Max Zoll, that's really generous. Max Zoll said he's going to give an Odin away for us. Wow, thanks, Max. We'll look forward to the $6,000 rocking up in our bank account, bro. That's what he said, didn't he? He said Odin giveaway on Inforunners. That means he's going to give us the Odin, right? That's how that works, doesn't it?
Impressive.
Oh wow. Thanks, Max.
Oh no, he did put it as a question.
No, he did. Shut up. Now we're gonna send around the not the tax collectors. What do you call it? The money collectors to his house. Yeah, Pete heard it too. Yeah. Thanks, Max. Just give us your address. We won't send anyone big and heavy around. Trust. Yeah.
So, Citizen Ninja.
By the
1
way,
and 2 banners are too wide.
Guys, that's how wide they are by default.
Yep.
Like if I go, wow.
Hey,
all right, I find that really weird.
You know, so and I was saying 1 and 2 are too noisy.
I've just realized I've left some things on in the background in some of those screenshots too. You can see some, because if you look at the bottom one, I made a mistake. So look, you can't see it at a distance, but I did make a mistake, because if you go back here, see these dots? They're actually the dots that were meant to be behind the number 1. And I forgot to turn them off. So those dots won't be there. But yeah. If I go, give me a second, I can work some magic here. Hang on. If I turn that on, and this is actually Photoshop, by the way. So this is some behind the scenes stuff. If I turn this off and this one, I think I gotta find it. This one. This is our standard hexes from the episode, and if I turn a couple of other layers on, I won't be able to make it look exactly the same because I deleted some shit. But that is the well, actually, I can make it look. Give me 2 seconds. Click this. I then have to flip this to inverse, and then this is all the shit I got to go through every single time. Algared's seen me. Like that's the thumbnail from today, right? You can see how wide the hexagons are. They are exactly the same. They're actually even more wider than those.
Yep. But the difference with those is they are solid as opposed to our hexagons, which are more transparent.
Yeah. So we're looking at 47% on YouTube, and I think we had 50% on Twitch when it ended. I hate that Twitch doesn't allow you to retain it doesn't stay there until you tell it to get. It just pops up for 10 seconds and then disappears.
Yep.
But yeah. So wait, I just realized I didn't bring you guys over with me, or did I? Wait. I did not bring you. Wait. Did I bring you? No, I did bring you. Wait. Yeah. So someone else made that with AI, by the way, Algared, and I just cut it out and color corrected it, and the Twitch,
Meat.
we got a Meat. Oh yeah.
We do have another gift. Meat, thank you for the 5 gift subs on Twitch. TXander and Robert JT, Psychus 29XP, Cupan, and Malachi 2085. You have just been given a month sub from Meat, so give him thanks and all that stuff.
Good to see you back, mate. Haven't seen you for a little bit. Hope you're well. Yeah, I really like it when I see regular names. You know, like because for me and Algared, like you obviously see our ugly mugs all the time, but to us, you're just names. That sounds weird.
Just names.
But we remember. We remember your names. You know, like Bowler won that ship the other week and he wasn't here. We were like, why the fuck wasn't Bowler here? Bowler's almost always here. You know.
It's hard when we go to a bar citizen or something. Oh, and Jack X.
And we've never seen your ugly mug. You got to remember, we don't know you. The first thing you do is you walk up and go, "Oh, I am such and such," and then we'll know who you are, right? And so, like, we'll get people come up. They won't even introduce themselves. Probably, it's like you can tell this, like, they don't get out a lot like we do. We don't get out a lot either, right? That's what I mean.
No.
And they just come up and they just shake your hand and like, "And who are you?" Like, it's like, and they're acting like they're your best friend. And we got no idea who they are. And it's just like, "Oh, that's nice, crazy person." So yeah, just make sure you introduce yourself, and so you can say, "Oh, my name's John, and this is my online name," or something like that. Whatever you want to do. But yeah, if we don't know who you are, then it just gets really. It's like, "Oh, that's nice," and you awkwardly like trying to be polite. And it's like, "But I got no fucking idea who you are." Okay. But
the prisoner says if we get 2,000 more subs on Twitch, we can afford an Odin. So, you know, I don't know how that works, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how that works either. Everyone seems to think we make a lot of money. We actually, until recently, we were making more money with Patreon. I think the financial crisis hit a lot of people because if you look at the end screen,
our Patreon
it has dipped a lot. But that's fine. I understand the way the world is. I'm not complaining about the money. I'm just saying we actually made more on Patreon than we did on YouTube. That's all I was trying to highlight. So you don't make a lot of money. And again, we don't do this for money. If we did this for money, we'd be pumping. I'd be pumping out videos every day, wouldn't I, Agrid? If I was doing this for money.
Yep.
But no, we just like, again, think about it. Like, I could have done a video every day this week on those ships, couldn't I?
Yep.
We just do this show because we love it. It's a passion thing for us. It's not a profit thing.
It's not a money making thing, and we certainly don't make money. Like we do get money come in, but the number of times we've used it to replace equipment.
Well, we had to borrow laptops from people and stuff like that. Like if I'd love to buy a laptop so when we go places we had one to stream with, but like the prices of them right now would be like $4,000 for a decent one, if not more, because you got to be able to stream. And then we'd only ever use it when we went places, so it'd kind of sit there and not do a lot. So it's just easier to borrow someone's if they're kind enough, which we had in the UK. You know, and it'll be the same if we went other places, but we don't, you know, me and Algared brought things out of our own money. Like we both brought those cameras for the trip to the UK, and you know, I don't know. I don't think we would have done it as long as we've done it, Algared, if it wasn't for passion. I don't know. You tell me.
No.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for passion, you know, what we spend on the stuff of the show would have been more ships.
Yeah, basically. And I'm going to be honest, you guys, it's just that simple. Yeah. Like, it's the people you meet. Like, this game wouldn't have lasted us half as long as it did if it wasn't for the people. It sounds cliche.
Oh, it wouldn't have gone off the ground if it wasn't for the people.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, and I think, you know, certain people's efforts to build and value the community, I think have had a bigger impact than people.
The people I've met through this game that have like, you know, yourself, SA, Lambing, and the list will go on. Grim, blah 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 blah. Like it just grows and grows. Astropub, Keenan, which is Space Tomato, blah blah blah. The number of people that I've met that have just changed my life. I'm a better person for it. I'm still an asshole, but I'm a better person. And you'd agree that both of us have grown as people. We've definitely become a lot more tolerant, especially of each other.
We've definitely become more tolerant of each other.
Yeah. We're not as dog as we used to be.
That's right.
But yeah, so all right. Well, thank you for the hype train. Level 3.
We still do get there at times, but yeah.
Not
usually when we're tired or crook.
Yeah. Like there's been a couple of ones lately when we've both been crook, where we've been a little
when we're tired or crook, man, we get snappy.
I remember, I think it was last week or the week before, I just said, sorry, I was so grumpy. I was just sick as a dog, and I was just like, yeah, I get it. And it was the same thing. Like there was another week where Algared, I think I was kind of a bit snappy, and I'd left too many questions, so I didn't turn the bot off early enough. And Algared, I could just tell he wanted the fuck out. He's like, right, we're hitting these as quick as we can because I want the fuck out of here. Like, I'm like, yep, I'll just go let him go because I could see how mad he was
last week. And by the end of it, you just took over the question. My voice was like, I'm done. I'm done. Yeah.
So we start to read the room a bit with each other. We start to see how things are going, but we get there. But yeah. All right. So I think I'm gonna have to go back and take that official one, and I'll tweak it a little bit. I'll spice it up a little bit. I'll probably cross-pollinate it a little bit with the second one. And just see what I come up with. Because again, it is a little bit thin. I do need to essentially fatten it out a little bit. And I don't want it to look so much like theirs. I want to je ne sais quoi. I think the only one I really copied a lot of theirs was when we did the Saulian one. You know how I reconstructed the whole thing? Because I saw that as a challenge. And I had a lot of fun doing it. Like, it was really cool to because it was really complicated. This is simple as fuck.
Yeah.
Right, by comparison. And you know I enjoy a challenge when it comes to the Photoshop stuff. So but yeah. Anyway, thank you for the feedback. I do appreciate that. And well, now you know what to look forward to. And I'll obviously just have whatever the day is. So if we have Drake Day, I'll probably put an Ironclad or a Pitbull up there for the first day, and the line will go. Right, Algared, would you like to do some questions, sir?
Yeah. I will say one of the other takeaways I did, Kate, from that video was that Thurston is a science head, and I think that was one of the things that came up through the Xi'an question Q&A that we looked at last week. But he is really, really into science. He wants to take the Endeavour and just do the science module and just don't let in, don't interfere, don't interfere. Just let me go to town. Just let me go to town on it. So far, he hasn't been successful in winning support, but
well, again, that episode we did with Morphologist, it's really weird. Like, all the episodes that we've done, right? I think back to even when you were talking today about the room system. Now we theorized the room system over 7 years ago, right? Yeah. And that episode's only got like 2,000 views, and you and I worked on that for like months, like 3 months. And we were so excited that we'd kind of thought we'd cracked it, and it's usually when it's something not proven that we speculate on. That we get the most enjoyment out of, but they don't get watched very well because people will go, that's too pie in the sky.
That's too speculative.
But it's just surprising how many of them have come to pass. And I reckon that one where with Morph and the science, I reckon we're bang on. It just makes so much sense to hook everything up through all the animals and all that, and the AI and all that type of stuff.
I know that episode we did with Morph. As we're talking, I don't think that went anywhere where any three of us thought it would go.
Oh yeah, that was the best part about it.
It went off on so many different ways, and as we just started to see the applications of the different avenues you take science.
We all had that epiphany, and that's how when you all are on in a dubstep epiphany. That's why I knew we were onto something, because when it was you, me, and Morph, I was like, "Whoa, okay, we've cracked this nut." And I was like, and even again, every time Morph comes along, you can tell he gets shit out of the episodes because he just doesn't have that group that he speculates with. So, and I really enjoy having him along. He's a busy boy, but when he does come along, we have a great time. So
yeah.
Shut up, Pete. Right. Dubstep all over you. Right. First question, please, Mr. Algared. By the way, real quick, we do not. Oh, the bots crashed. That's probably why. I was gonna say we don't have a lot of questions. This is gonna go badly. I can see now. If the bot's already died once, that means it's probably gonna die again. Let's see. We've only got about 15 questions, so this could be quick. Right. See if it grabs any more. Algared, this one, please.
The first question is clearly to me, and it said, "Did you already reorder 3 Odins?" No.
Oh, damn it, it crashed again.
Second question. The second question is from I Hudson Hawk. During the April previews, when the whole bee video came out, they showed zombie-like creatures. Oh, that was from last week. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say that sounds like I swear I've heard that question like 3 times before.
Yeah. Jock 4205 is our actual first question for today. He says, big question, is Algared going to melt a couple of javelins for an Odin? If I need to. Nova 42, have you had an ironclad price prediction yet? Do you think it'll be over the typical 10-15% because of SCU increase from the initial concept?
Oh, that's a good question. I haven't really considered the extra cargo amount, no. But I think it would definitely push it towards the 20% rather than the 10. The bot is continually crashing, so we're gonna have to go to manual questions. I am gonna start. I'm gonna start a Q&A. I'm gonna start a Q&A on YouTube. Ask us your questions. Sorry, Twitch, you do not have this ability. I apologize, but if you do chuck him in the question, me and Algared will be keeping an eye out. Algared, you're gonna have to keep an eye on YouTube chat because I cannot do that.
I will try to do that.
So
you mean the Twitch chat?
So the last question that came in was ironically from Rabbit that said, everyone redo your questions. But the last question was actually Alberto Tugay-Gib. Albert Tugay-Gib did the answer the question about the VLS. So no one asked that. Oh, God. Jason Harrison was the last question. Can you add your logo under the ship center, the O runner? So you want our logo on the thumbnail, I think he's talking about. But yeah, that's kind of the last question. So yeah, please get some questions in. Apologies for that. Out of our control.
Yep.
Go complain to Pickles. Anyway, all right.
Yep.
Right, questions are coming in.
Our bot dies.
So go ahead, Algared.
Okay. Nova 42 had a question.
Yep.
Yes, by the way, the first question on the price increase for...
Oh, let's do that.
The Ironclad. Yeah, I do expect it to have an increased bait because of the SCU increase.
What was it 450 and was it 450 and 500 were the original prices? Off the top of my head.
Would have to, I can't remember.
Star Citizen, Wiki, Ironclad. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Again, I'm usually in the ballpark, but let's have a quick look. I've got to turn Photoshop off, but I can that, and that is fixed. Right. Ironclad. So the Ironclad itself was a pledge price of 450. I was right on that, and I believe the Assault was $50 more, which is no, it was $85 more. I was wrong on that one. But Warbond was 465. What? Anyway, 535. So 20%. That would put right. Let's have a look at. Let's just do the math. 20. Add 20% to 535. Nope. Okay. 20. All right. Not gonna work. 20%. Oh God, man, this is a good way to of 535, which is 107. So plus 535 equals what? Calculator can't even calculate. Google, what the fuck? Right, I'm gonna do it manually on my calculator.
642.
642. So that'd be 640. And then 20. Do the same thing again. 20% of what was it? 450. 450, which would make it $90 if my math is correct. Yep. And then we go plus 450. I'm not good at math. 540. 40. So 540 and 640 respectively.
I'd say 550 and 650, just round figures. But yeah, look, I could see it. I could see them increasing it just because of the SCU increase.
Can I point out that means the Ironclad Assault would be only 10 if it did stay at 640, by the way. And the reason why I think it's going to be 640 is the Banner Merchantman is 650. There is no way in hell an Ironclad Assault equals a Banner Merchantman. There's no way. It's got 10 shops on it.
But
it's out. It's one's out versus one not out. I get that part.
Yep. And the Banner Merchantman would jump in price as well.
But
when it comes out.
that'd be a very cheap way to get an ironclad if they made it $10 cheaper. They'd get a lot of people jumping ship to the. Maybe you're right. They make it $650 so you can't jump.
Yep.
Yep. Makes sense to me all of a sudden. So yeah, so it'd be $550 and $650 respectively, something like that. Yeah, I can see that. Both ships did grow. But yeah, can you see $100 in value going from the ironclad to the ironclad assault? I don't quite see $100 in value, but
I don't see much value in $100 fighters.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Or $50 vehicles, but there they are. And communities still buy them.
With the ability to repair ships now on that the ironclad assault, it really does make me question what is the better of the two ironclads. And the cargo on the ironclad is now really close to the banner merchantman, so it's essentially almost like a banner merchantman without the shops. So if you wanted just a cargo ship without the shops.
And if they tie the repair abilities on the ships to the metric, and then you have, the pads or ships that you can put in the ironclad base to a metric as well, that could change. That could change that as well. If the ironclad can take, for example, medium ships, then it becomes really valuable. If it can only take snub ships, then it's not as valuable, in my opinion. So there are some things we still need to know, but I expect a price increase. And
here, have a look at this. Just food for thought. I don't know the guy that makes this, but he never uses it on his own stream. So I use it all the time to rub salt in his wound because he should be using this all the time.
He should be.
That kind of shows you how valuable that banner management is. There's a lot of ships in that place. A lot of shops.
There's a lot of ship on that.
A lot of shops. And a lot of guns.
I can't see, like someone saying it'll never go over 1,000. I can't see it not going over 1,000.
I think they're deliberately, because it started at 250. I think they deliberately will keep it under 1,000. Money laundering, because of money laundering laws.
Yeah,
that's why.
The only other thing I could see them doing that is so that it doesn't automatically suddenly become a LTI ship. But
hey, that is food for thought. That ironclad is the amount of cargo that holds, right? And think about where you're going to be able to access and how much cheaper it's going to be to run. I can definitely see there's a really cool symbiotic relationship between an ironclad and a banner merchantman now. You can send the ironclad to come back and so the banner merchantman is so big it doesn't have to go back. It can send an ironclad and get it to restock it and stuff like that. So there's a synergy there.
The other thing is, the banner merchantman has those stores, the shops. It has other features that the banner merchant, that the ironclad doesn't have. We know it's got a fighter hangar because it's got the hangar for the defender now, which was something that was added. So it has grown a lot. It is essentially a frigate. So you've got to look at it in terms of the size of the ship compared to, an Idris. And then the value of an Idris. And
if we go in and just focus on these two, this is where my question becomes: is there enough value in that assault now? Right, $100. A lot of people go $100. Who cares, right? But I look at, I'm not going to get both of them, right? I cannot see a need for both. But my question is, I've already got a banner merchantman. Do I need the ironclad? And am I better to go into the assault for the versatility it provides in the little bit of cargo that I lose?
Yeah, and that's the hard one, isn't it?
Well, the thing is, before there was a negative, right? There's not so much of a negative now, right? And when I look at it, I'm like, this seems to be my brain is going, this seems the no-brainer option now. Does that mean we're just not going to see it? Again, I'm going to wait. I've got a CCU from one to the other, so I'm just going to wait. But I'm leaning towards an assault right now. So we'll see. Because this is just a cargo ship now.
Yep. No, I can see that.
With the safe room. And yeah, you give up the safe room. But again, if they capture your ship and you've got stuff in a safe room ain't going to do shit. You know what I mean? So if you've got more guns, you're more likely to survive. So give up the safe room and just put it as normal cargo. And I can have a vehicle fly out of my cargo bay and help me defend it. So and it's got more guns on it. You know,
as Parker XGPS says, the BMM is a different game loop, and you're right.
Yes, it is.
And that's the other thing that comes in. But when you're looking at the assault versus the just standard ironclad, that is a question because there's $100 difference between them, basically, or $85 difference between them. And which one's a better one?
I'm going to add one more ship in here because I think this is going to bear some fruit here for some people, right? And it's the Liberator. I can't, after seeing what they've done this ironclad assault, not look at the Liberator. And the reason why I'm going to put them like this is the cargo variant. This is the vehicle and ship version, dedicated. And this is the flexible option between the two.
Yep.
And if you can only buy one, you get this. But if you've got more money than God, you buy those two.
Yep. No,
so
that's...
In a weird turn of phrase, you can even make it a bit more like a triangle. And it would be something like that. Can you see where I'm going there?
Yeah, you go one of the two, and then once you go bigger, you go.
This one's probably a little bit further out than those two, right? Because there's no shops on this, and it is bigger and all that. But there is a link between all these ships through the cargo allotment. Essentially, this one doesn't have the cargo, but you get where I'm going, right? They're all in the same ballpark. They are all kind of in that Corvette domain, somewhat. So I don't know. You know, I've got this. Do I get this one? And if I get this one, it's too close to this one. So am I actually better to fuck these two off completely and go this one? And that's kind of where my brain's at right now. Do I just pick up an assault for now and pick up a CCU to this, and if this drops and this is cool, or I just jump ship? Because, and that's just a Kraken light. I've already got the Kraken, so now I've got this sitting between here and here in my Kraken. Have I doubled up too much? Do I turn this into something else? Yeah, this is the questions we now go through in our own head. So I'm now, do I go to a Tiburon? Do I go to an Odyssey? And that, I'm going to be honest, that's probably where I'm at the moment. Like, do I just bypass all three of these? Because unlike Grim, that'll buy every big ship under the sun, I look at things for rolls, right? And when I look at the rolls, I've kind of doubled up here.
I just point out that Grim's clearly had some. He's clearly sick. He did say he had no voice. He's clearly sick because he is pointing out that Drake workmanship is the best ever.
That gaff tape is pretty strong, Algared. Don't fuck around with gaff tape.
I got to admit, gaff tape is pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty strong shit.
Someone did say we were talking smack about Grim earlier.
I'd give Grim Grim would enjoy a good smack though, so you got to be careful.
But when Australians talk smack to someone, it generally means they're liked.
Yeah, exactly. If we're not talking,
if we're being really polite to you, then you know you're in trouble.
Yeah, that's it. If we're being polite, you've fucked up big time. Right. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at role-wise with this, and this is a personal thing, so I just want to bring it up for you because I don't know if you just buy everything. I don't. I've got a
I think there are some holes now.
So I think I'm going to try the Ironclad come Monday. I may upgrade to an Assault because I think it is going to be the better of the two, but I think I'm probably going to go to a Liberator in the end. So ironically, I need to find an upgrade to from the Assault to the Liberator because I don't have one, and when this comes out, it's going to go up in price. I'm gonna have to find. So if anyone's got an Assault to Liberator CCU, please get in contact because I would love to pick one up for you if you would be willing to sell it to me. Don't know if I'm
actually confused.
But yeah.
Socially confused. Grim has a problem. He's stuffed up. It means he can't taste. So eating a bean is going to do nothing to clean his sinuses.
Good excuse, Grim. I should have thought of that earlier. Oh, I'm sick. I've lost my taste buds. Can't do any more beans.
Grim didn't say that. Grim didn't point that out. That was me pointing it out. You know, like the waste of time having something horrible if you can't taste it.
It's an all elaborate plan. He just that's what it is. He's sick of eating those beans. You know what he got me? I went and brought the beans, and since I got the beans, he hasn't even camera once. Not once.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I don't know. Maybe you and I should do some bean stuff. You know, you got a Kmart up where you live. They sell.
I've had those beans.
Yeah, I know. They sell for $10.
Bot beans, they're disgusting. Yes.
No, they're not Bernie bots. I don't know what they're called, but they sell them for $10.
Yeah, but they're basically Birdie bots, horrible tasting.
Yeah, but maybe we can do some. We can have some donation goals or something for something. I don't know. We'll figure something out. Not that we need to raise money or anything. But
yeah, Al's Liberator. Sorry, Al's Odin. Yeah.
Actually, wouldn't it be Execute Odin because you can afford one and I can't?
Well, I can't really afford one, not for new cash.
Yeah, but you've got things to melt. I don't have things to melt. Mine are all super savings of like ridiculous proportions. That's why I've been.
Yeah, some of mine are super savings these days compared to what they are. But yes, it's. I just have more surplus stuff I can melt if push comes to shove. But yes, I don't actually have everything at the moment. I think I'm missing a few.
Well, especially with the way they changed the packs to include all the armor. I don't blame you. That's a bit crazy. Nobody wants all that shit, especially when it's going to be available in game for Nix.
Well, I did melt all the stuff from one of the previous patches to buy the the upgrade.
Yeah, wow.
And I couldn't.
Are you looking at that? His assault chain is $185. Yeah, that's mad. Yeah. Yep.
But I couldn't get the upgrade. I didn't have enough credits to buy the upgrade, even though I melted everything that was in every ship that was in vehicle that was in the pack. And it was like, you're kidding me.
Yeah.
So if I melted everything that was in that pack, and I had doubles of the ships that were in the pack, which I calculated to melt as well, and I still couldn't upgrade.
Yeah. So the armors and that are just not worth it. In short. All right. Next question. That was the first question.
Yeah. No, that was our second question.
Wow, and it only took 40 minutes. Right. Anyway, next question.
On a roll. Nova 42 has another question. What do you think about size 0 quantum drives without a jump module for some snubs for nav mode and the shortest of jumps from ship in orbit to surface and back?
That would definitely fix a lot of the issues with snubs. Yep. It would be a really good stopgap. So that essentially means they could jump around the system Algared. Yep. And also you could really limit how far they could jump. What I would do, right? You tell me if you think that I'm going to modify what he said. It's a beacon jump or something like that. I'm going to come up with a name, but it can jump back to the mothership.
Yep.
And only to the mothership. And it somehow uses power of the mothership to pull itself to the mothership. That would fix the problem.
Well, interesting thought. The reason that snub ships like the P-52 tend not to have navigation is because it used to be that they were actually using a kind of communication link to the mothership to get their navigation.
Yeah.
So that would be.
But again, it connects into that navigation. It can detect that it's too far away, but it can see the direction and it can jump in its direction. So even if it took 2 jumps, like one to get within the ballpark, that'd be kind of cool, actually. Make it a bit manual. Do you know what I mean? So one to get you out of dodge, so the mothership gets out, and then they all just jump in the direction of the mothership, and then they all reconverge. And that also allows the bad guys time to try and catch them as they're reconverging. You see where I'm going? So there's a gameplay connotation there as well. You get back in the mothership and you get out of dodge. I like that.
I've always disliked the way they do things at the moment. I can understand snub ships not having quantum drive at all. If light fighters or that only have quantum drive and not a jump drive, and then you got other ships with a jump drive. So then you get this progression. But at the moment, you've got snub ships.
I'm being insulted.
With no quantum drive or jump drive, and then you got everything else that has both. And to me, that just doesn't make sense.
Being insulted in chat, he said, if you melt Execute, you only get $15 back. That's insulting. I'm at least worth 5. Not 15. You're not good at valuing. Bro.
Well, that's praise. If you're melting Execute and you get 15 and you reckon you're only worth 5.
Kidding, obviously.
That's 3 times value. It's overvaluing you.
Yeah, I know. What a dickhead. Anyway, right.
But yeah, so, but I do like the idea. I've also thought.
Oh, he's a Prime subscriber. Well, even more a reason to tell me about.
I think, going back to that question, if every ship has, apart from Snubs, have quantum drive and jump drive, then Snubs should have a quantum drive. Whether you make it very small, so it can just go to planets or back, whether that gives you navigation ability, so you can actually find your mothership. I do think they do need something like that. I do think it gives them a bit more value. Whether it's even if you're in a system where it enables you to get to the moon or to an outpost or to a, but and you'd limit it because of the amount of fuel you could carry. But yeah, I'd love to see that. But it would need to be just a quantum drive, not the ability to do a jump drive. But I've always argued that there should be that progression.
So the other thing is, if you really limited how far a snub could jump as well, like instead of being, I reckon they'd almost struggle to jump from planet to planet.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So to
planet
the point
to moon,
that sometimes they're going to wait for the orbits to be lined up so they can actually jump. So if they're in real trouble, they've got to kind of like duck and weave and hide for a bit, like around the moons and shit, and then when they get close, they jump across.
Yeah, I could see possibly they could jump to a moon,
like a frog on lily pads. You know, like Frogger. Yeah, a little bit like that.
I could see them making the jump from, say Lorville to the moons.
Yeah.
And even that, I think, would be a stretch.
Yeah. Like really limiting,
limiting.
Unless they're jumping back. Well, again, the mothership wouldn't leave them, but the mothership, say, could be around the planet moons and jumping back to the mothership. I reckon it's got to be something. I reckon you can make it so that there's somehow they draw power from the mothership and it allows them to jump back to them. But yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking more gameplay reasons, and then especially if you've got a swarm of them, like 4 or 5 of them, and reconverging and putting back on the mothership. But I think Snubs really do need dedicated motherships. I don't like how they've made them these independent ships, and the reason for that is the Merlin. Like the Merlin was really designed for the Connie, and it still is to this day the best snub. Right, the only other snub that I can think like that would be the MPUV and the Idris, and it's still good as well for the same reasons. Right, but the Fury, no real dedicated mothership. I know it was put onto the tack, but it feels literally like it was tacked on. And again, why do you build an entire hangar for one snub? You want to rotate them through. That they needed at least 3 or 4 of those things on that tack to validate the existence of a hangar.
Yeah, because the tack basically took the idea from a Carrack.
Yeah,
which had one hangar for its snub.
Yep. And that wasn't real, and that's still not really a snub, is it?
No,
it's a
no. Well,
got a warp drive.
It was original. Remember, it was supposed to be a snub.
Yeah, but it changed.
And when they brought it out, it had quantum drive and jump drive.
Yep.
Which really kind of made it an absolutely awesome starter ship, which is great, but it's not a snub.
Yeah.
So yeah,
we'll see.
So yes, we think something like that is needed, but there's also a lot more of it needs to go into that. And it's a bit like, I'll go back to the video I talked about today. When you start tweaking things or adding things that have a kick-on effect to everything else.
Yeah.
And then you've got to ask, well, what does doing that for snubs? And I've got to stress, I hate the fact that snubs are so far removed from everything else in terms of what they can do, in terms of their flight. But the second you start changing X, what's the kick-on effect and how does it, what the positives and negatives? And
besides MPUV, they're all just combat aligned, and that just doesn't make sense to me. I think there needs to be more ships akin to the MPUV because that makes a lot of sense. I would love if the Odin had its own dedicated snub, as an example.
You will remember that the MPUV back in the day was part of the the module aspect of it was a repair ship. It was a ship that its little claw was used so you could actually carry out repairs on your your idris
on its head. It had what Algared's talking about. Yeah.
You know, so it had a claw, so you could actually do repairs on your idris, or you know, and do small repairs, and so you'd have had repair capability on that MPUV. It is an abomination. It is not an abomination. It is anathema that the MPUV is variants and not modules. So
I think they'll fix it
eventually. I don't think we'll get the claw. I think they'll stick with the tractor beam, but certainly the repair. You know, I could see a tractor / repair beam with them. Some form of salvage thing, so you could actually cut things away.
All right, next one.
Albert Hugo Gibb. Alberto Guy Gibb.
Good feeling English is not the first language.
Nope. Albert wants us to give something. Do you think the box-shaped objects behind the bridge, on the underside of the bridge, I think he's talking about the Odin, possibly, on the underside of the bridge and near the tail, as well as directly in front of the bridge, look like possible VSL on the Odin? Also, on the bottom, there looks like to be a giant gun barrel and that weird turret-looking thing when you zoom in. Yes.
I haven't had a real chance to analyze any of this stuff because I essentially got out of bed and then I jumped straight into the live stream as we usually do. So I did not have time to go over this, but yeah, I do agree. Big ass gun down here and 2 big guns here, which would be in line with the Odin spear and the 2 ravens and the crows. There's obviously going to be a lot more weapons on this thing that are kind of hidden and tucked away in just one image.
And PDCs and...
They're going to be talking about this thing a lot, hyping it up, trying to sell it. I think you're going to get a lot more information in the next week, to be honest with you. And I would be willing to bet the ISC next week is going to be chock full of shit on this.
Because that would be an interesting one, Grim. If the Odin kind of absorbs or has some reverse engineered Vandal weaponry, maybe.
You would agree, Algared, that this is probably the toughest sell of all the ships they have in the lineup because of the price tag.
Yeah.
Just that simple.
Yeah. Because of a price tag, it will be super tough. Yeah.
Yeah. Like $6,000 is a lot of money. You can get a lot of ships for $6,000. I think most people's fleets aren't even $6,000, put it that way. Or $5,000. I'm saying $6,000 now because it's double the price and it's double the size. So yeah, I'm upping my estimates now.
Yep. Right. I don't think that's far off. Mostly beef. Is the M80R, or our question is it an M80R or an R80? If you're talking a racing variant of the M80.
Sorry, say that again, Algared.
With the M80, we were talking about variants and doing a racing variant, and mostly beef's question is it an M80R or is it an R80?
Well, again, they've backed themselves into a corner with their stupid... It's the wrong name. I said that last time. It doesn't make sense. Because if you've got the M50, and that stands for Murray Cup, then Murray Heavy Fighter? What? You know, it just doesn't make sense. And I think it would have been far better just to call it a 25A, personally, but...
I think 25A would have been better. I do have to talk about we did talk about what when we did the Stingray, and we talked about where the lettering comes from. And someone said in chat, and it made perfect sense. Kruger Intergalactic is German themed.
Yes.
Elect in German is light. The L22, L21A, right? The alpha and the regular. So the L22 from the German light. S in German, schwer is heavy. So the heavy fighter gets the S because it's using the German.
It's not an S though, because they've stated it's an M.
So the Stingray,
medium.
Going back to the Stingray, the
Stingray, but they've stated the Stingray's a medium. So it wouldn't be an S. What's medium in?
Yeah, I don't know what medium is, but
somebody at that Zion place ordered an S65, right? That is a completely made up rumor bullshit thing. So you need to leave that on the cutting room floor until they come out and state what its numbering is. I am not calling it an S65 because that's a rumor, and I don't want to go into rumor territory.
I did think that did make sense in terms of the name.
It makes sense, but that's someone wishing a rumor into existence, and that's how these rumors start and spread. So I'm not calling it that.
Okay.
But if you find out what the letter is for medium, because let's be honest, they're going the newer ships are going from small all the way up, right?
Middle. It would be an M. Middle.
Yeah. So it'll, M, whatever the number is. It is more than likely what that Stingray is.
Yeah, I'm not even going to try and say that second one.
Middle Grob.
Yeah. But the one that starts with Dur.
Well, it can be D. It can be D or M. All right, D or M. So that's all we need to know.
Oh, there you go. Stubber, have you talked about the Kraken upgun info I sent you yet? Execute.
No.
And while you do that, I need to disappear.
The questions are all in a list. And they come in and we go through them. I did talk about this on Grimm's thing, but you go to the bathroom.
I'll be back shortly.
Yeah. Look, long story short, any gun that gets turned bespoke, I see it as a nerf. And they make it seem better by making it a size up, right? Ooh, I'm getting an upgrade. No, you're not. You're getting it nerfed to high heaven. Because then they do something like where they slow the fire rate, or because you're beholden to CIG, you can no longer customize your gun. And I think at least they need to give you at least minimum of 2 bespoke guns every time they do that, because you need to be able to choose between lasers and ballistics, right? Because now look at the Polaris. The Polaris now has to permanently carry ammo for that gun up the front to be effective. And that is now eating into the cargo that you assigned. They didn't give you any more additional cargo, but now it's eating into that cargo. Where if it was lasers, wouldn't be eating into my ammo count, would it? So, and it's going to be exactly the same with the Kraken. As soon as I saw that gun, I went, oh, fuck. I don't want bespoke guns. I'd rather them have downsized them from 7s to 6s than go up to 8s. That's how much I hate bespoke guns. I want my choice to choose what I want to do, not beholden to, no offense, some fuck at CIG that's decided that's how their gun should be. And they obviously saw a little bit of sense when they did it with the Kruger and gave a couple of different guns, but 2 guns is not enough. It's just, I had all these slews of guns and now you've limited me to 2? Fuck off. Excuse my French. But yeah, just not a fan. Anyway, I got on the next question since Algared's doing some potty training. Right. Where was he? Same question. Where was he up to? That's not a question. That's not a question. Question from Bowler, who says, once we get more info about the Odin, will you do another episode with the military boys about what strategy fleets you would use to take out an Odin? So a command and control. Yeah, we can do that. Absolutely. Why not? That'd be a good one, actually. SA, if you're watching. And I'm brain farting on names. Fuck, I'm getting old now. When you start forgetting names. Oh, you guys know who you are. Anyway, yeah, I'll ever talk to them. Right. Ash, no. Sangroper, are we still expecting to see the Kruger Stingray at this defense gun? No. I think it's well and truly. I have talked to people from CIG that said that there were more ships planned and they have not made it. So I think there was probably something from Crusader or something like that that's been removed, because that's the one day that doesn't have something. Or there was a vehicle from Tumbril or something like that, but something being cut. Right. Citizen Ninja says, is it true that Origin pilots can withstand higher G-forces because flying Origin induces a heightened state of arousal that reverses the pressure? No, that's quite soon. But let's see where you're going, Citizen Ninja. No. And then Alberto asks, Do you think that the Tiburon ballistic turrets are slave to the pilot? That's what a lot of forward-facing firepower, if so, potentially. And I'm not convinced with the Tiburon that gun is a pilot gun. I think it might be on a remote turret. And there's a camera up here on the dorsal fin turret. And I think whoever is on that is controlling this and these two side guns. So maybe a co-pilot, or even I even suggested where, you know, where how you got into the turret at the top, you still get into it, but it's like a remote station control.
Yeah, could be.
And so basically you control, and it's got a camera on that dorsal fin. Because if you think about it, that's the best view. It's even better than the pilot, because the pilot is sitting, they're not in the center, they're sitting left and right, and they're below the gun. So it's a really bad camera position. But if you were a camera on the dorsal fin and you were looking straight down the gun, that's very similar to the Idris, is it not? And then if you make it, also if you take into the fact that if you zoom in here, and you can see it on the videos, there's 3 little lasers that converge into one. So if you could somehow make it just so the end of it could bend a little bit, like maybe 5 or 10 degrees, almost like it's got mirrors or something that converge, and so you could slightly steer the laser, just ever so slightly, that would make it a lot better for someone that's not the pilot to aim and fire it. And combine it with these guns here, so you can fire and go, right, that's hitting my target, fire the laser. You see where I'm going? I think that's what it's for. I am very hopeful it's not pilot controlled, is what I'm trying to say. Anything you want to add there?
I think there's grounds. I think there's grounds for thinking that we're going along that line. I know that we've talked about.
Hang on, we just got a raid. Hydrodosa, thank you for the raid with 76 people. Nice to see you.
Awesome.
He's the guy that wears the funny glasses.
Lovely, heavy guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Off Twitch. Yeah. We're just talking about the Tiburon. You were saying, sorry.
Yeah, one of the things, and the reason I think there's merit to what you're saying is one of the things I've heard CIG talk several times about is wanting to get groups closer together for that gameplay. So you've got your bridge crew together, so they're controlling the weapon rather than being scattered all over the ship. So having that increased communication and interaction with players, because that's generally why you play the game. You want to be interacting with your mates. Now, admittedly, most of the time we'll do that by being on Discord and being in different parts of a ship or different planets or moons, and you're doing that. But yeah, it's you want to do that in game so you can actually have that sense of accomplishing something together more.
Now, I went through and I kind of did a crew count in my head. I think it drops from 9 to 6. That's kind of where I'm at for this one. And that's not official. That's just kind of me working out the seats and stuff. But for a ship of this size, that right here, you take off the 2 turrets.
I got 2 turrets.
Yeah.
I could see something like that.
I don't
Void Light Gaming.
Go ahead.
Comes in and they say, talking about the man turrets and that grouping of crews as true. So man turrets are inferior. No, they're just different.
I think
there'll be people who really like being in those turrets and having that.
There's advantages and disadvantages to both. Like, for example, if I'm in a turret and it gets EMP'd,
I can leave.
And it's more mechanical based, I can get out, but I can also probably still shoot. But if I'm in a remote turret, it'll cut the camera feed.
Yep, so, and it's automatically dead.
Yeah.
Advantages on a big ship. It means my turret guys are probably in a better position to go and repair stuff rather than me running from the brute down to engineering or somewhere else. So, fix of one, half a dozen of another. You know, you're constantly going to get those choices you have to make.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna. So one of the things he did stress at Zion to people was that this is not gonna. He said he didn't want to make another ship like the Idris that was just a powerhouse. So I have to take John at his word and believe that a pilot does not fire this gun. I'll freely admit I'm wrong if it comes out next week and that's the case. But The other thing, Algared, that I can't get over is just how much like a bigger Merlin this looks. It actually looks like a Kruger ship, especially in that
the nose.
Yeah, exactly. And when I first saw it, I thought, is that a modified Merlin? That was my first thought. I went, no, hang on, no, that's a hammerhead. But just for a second, I went Merlin. I went, what? Yeah.
You can also see why it's like that because it's a shark. Like you got that engine on the side that's a shark eye. You know, it's a shark.
Well, it's the first curved ship we've seen from Aegis in a really long time. They really went into this blocky state, you know, like Hammerhead, Reclaimer, Vulcan. They're all very blocky. We haven't really like, I know the Raven's got some smooth lines and stuff, but like I'm talking specifically bigger ships. This is really the first bigger ship from Aegis in quite a while. Because even if you look at the Idris, it's kind of blocked out a little bit. It doesn't have quite the same. Do you know what I mean? Like it doesn't have that smooth curve. It has this blockiness curve to it. Yeah.
This is a new ship from Aegis.
Exactly.
Like even the Idris is an ancient ship. It's hundreds of years old.
The point I'm trying to get at is it showing a more maturing of the ship pipeline that we're seeing in other manufacturers like Drake, MISC, and RSI? Or we're seeing a renaissance type thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, you know, one of the things I did talk about this morning was the way in which, as they've changed ships, and it came out, you know, with Europa Caterpillar, it came out when they were talking about the way in which they did things 10 years ago, where they designed the ships and the 3D nature of the ships was just all in 2D. Now it's a lot more visible. They put the extra things on. It's got a better look and it makes them look better. And
Pete saying that if you squint, it looks like an Archimedes. That was kind of my thought. I was wondering if it was an energy-based Archimedes when I first saw it.
Yeah, and we agree. It does look like an Archimedes or a P-52. Yeah,
it would be kind of cool if it was like who made the laser or something like that. So someone has to have been the manufacturer for that laser, and I don't. Well, it could be an Aegis, but I'd like to think it's probably someone else, and it's a collab. And we don't see a lot of collabs, so I want to see more of that.
Chimera 2281 on YouTube says, so the big question is, will it get a World War II shark tooth paint? And I think it will. I think it'll get a shark face.
We said that earlier.
It'll get that Idris paint. Yeah, we did say it earlier, but it just seemed that question came in. It seemed ideal.
All right, next one when you're ready.
Our next question down here from Armabilico says, the funny question would be, how much would Wicklow ask you to give you his for his hologram to be on your human ship? Someone had said that the round thing on the ship will be Wicklow's kind of hologram. To which the question is, how much would Wicklow charge you for advertising? I think it's actually how much we should charge Wicklow for advertising his products on our ship. So I'll flip that question.
I think I missed a bit of it. Algared, do you want to just finish those ones up to where the bot died before we get onto those ones that Ashra have posted? I want to do the ones that are here. So if you just want to do those last couple.
The last couple. So Jason Harrison 9677 says, can you add your logo under the ship center of the O runner?
I have not.
I think that's going back to the.
Yeah, I'll probably do a modified version of it or something like that. Look, let me have a play with it. But we don't tend to put our logo on the thumbnails anymore. We've tried to keep them clean as possible. You'll even notice it doesn't have a Star Citizen logo. It doesn't have an Inforunners logo. The only reason I put a logo on the sail is that's the only thing they've got that really kind of tells you what the sail is. So, yeah, is what it is. So,
yeah.
Anyway, is that the last one or?
Last question is from Albert. Albert, the Guy Gibb.
Yep.
Did they answer the question about VLS? I went to check on the kids and came back 5 minutes.
No, we haven't done that question. It can take many hours to get to the questions because we kind of let them come in and we answer them at the end. I guess we can kind of go over that. So what they're talking about, now I will actually check this while I'm here. Apparently on the stats page, and chat, you can check this as well if you want, but apparently someone was telling me the Ironclad has now officially had its stats updated to have S5 5 size torpedoes. And I'm just going to double check that and see if I can find it. It says missile size 5. Doesn't say torpedoes.
Well, size 5 used to be the blending, because it used to be size 1 to 4 missiles and then size 5 upwards torpedoes.
So I guess they have their torpedoes then. So essentially, they're vertical, and everyone's carrying on about wondering why they're vertical. Well, when they're landed on the ground, it allows them to fire missiles straight up and shoot the ships that are trying to kill them. That's why they're vertical. It's really obvious. And again, it works for an assault ship, and it also works on a cargo ship, ironically. And when you're in space, it's not going to really matter. And eventually, missiles will be able to come out and fly around your ship a lot better than they do right now. So it really doesn't matter where they fly out from. But it does matter when you're on the ground, because if you're on the ground and it flies out the front, it's probably going to explode on the ground. That's why they shoot out the top.
And they did talk about missiles in their virtual live stream, or not the virtual live stream. Kind of Star Citizen almost live. You know,
that would be a really good name for a Halloween live stream. The live stream.
Live stream. Yep. And just talking about the way missiles work at the moment, like they kind of just zoom. They're too quick. So you want to slow them down, but you also want to make them hard to. So it's not a guarantee you can shoot them down, because if you're a missile ship, you want your missiles that are costly to do stuff, but you also don't want to be the target of a missile and get blown up in one hit.
Yeah.
So it's kind of this balancing act they need to do. But they do need to do work on that. But again, it was that same thing. You tweak this, and the follow-on effect is felt everywhere else. So but yeah, the virtual launch system on a ship certainly depends on a planet.
Not virtual. Vertical.
Sorry, vertical launch system. Sorry, I did mean that.
Yep.
But the vertical launch system on a ship that's landed on the ground, it makes perfect sense. You know,
All right, let's do the first one on YouTube. This is from Bolo, who says, once we get more info on the Odin, will you do another episode? Oh, we answered that one already, so he doubled up.
The first one is Quincy. Are you guys familiar with Grollo?
No. This is the first one here. It's Sabah. They're all in a list already. You should go see
the one above it. Have a look at the one above it. Trust me.
It's Sabah. Where's the one above it? There's nothing above Sabah. I'm not blind. It's Sabah.
My bar.
Yours is different.
Yeah, my bar starts with.
Yeah. So, question: Execute. What do you think about the Kraken upgun? I sent you on Discord. I threw my 40 at you. Right. Hang on. Well, I didn't get any messages from I threw.
Nope.
I did talk about it before when Algared was in the bathroom. So we go on to the next one. Project Gnome, it says, question, do you think the Ironclads will sell a combo pack, since they seem to like doing that lately? Yeah, maybe, but I also definitely think they're going to have an Ironclad, like an Ironclad assault pack that comes with pit bulls. That's a no-brainer. And they'll probably sell they'll even be, it might be one that has 1 or 2, but then they'll sell one with that fills the bay. Like an Ironclad Assault Mega Pack or something. It's just something incredibly stupid. There were people that brought that 12 Fury pack, by the way. You remember that, Algared? That we were saying was crazy. It was like $560 or something. There were people that brought it. Yeah.
Well, they could have been looking at it as upgrade options for 12 CCU tokens.
Still a little bit crazy. But yeah. All right, next question is from Itchy Fire, who says, do you think those hangars on the Odin are mirrored on the other side, and what are the chances they extend all the way through the ship and connect? Entirely possible, but I didn't even notice there was hangars, because again, look, I really have not had a time to, like, where are they hangars? I've got nothing there that definitively screams hangars to me.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly doors, possibly launch base, possibly missile barrage. There's nothing there that definitively to me says hangar. Again, enough rope to hang yourself. Would you agree with that, Algared? There's nothing that is definitive there. It's just guesswork.
You got this big ship, this big body. Oh yes, they did talk about broadside cannons to the cat. Disco really wants that. John liked the idea of broadside cannons, so we'll probably see that at some point.
Next one's from Nova A42. He's just talking about the thumbnail. I'll look at that. Nova. He just says, "Can you please use the text of the thumbnail 3 with a border of 1?" I did have something similar to that, but I wrote it out. So I'm probably gonna be honest with you and say no at this point, just because I've already looked at something like that. Parker, congrats on the ship that he won off STAR-JM. Oh, what did you win on STAR-JM, Parker? Anyway, he won a ship, and his question is ideas about role of the Odin. I arrived late. It shoots shit.
It's a big ship.
Its guns have guns, we were told. So fire everything is my kind of mantra, I think, on that one. Again, one image is enough rope to hang yourself. There's not enough there that I can answer almost anything. It's just enough to speculate, and I think you'd agree, Algared, would be walking in dangerous waters pretty quick and making a lot of assumptions if we started to do that. Yeah.
Yep.
I could want a Corsair. Yep. All right, congrats on the Corsair. Got some good skins for that one. Question from Jason Harrison, who says they pulled Ox and Caterpillar from the store. Do you think they will go on sale for Drake Days? It could be price increases. It could be just them putting new ones up, like new pages, because we know that they now have to add the modules, so they probably had to redo the info on the Caterpillar. Might be a similar thing with the Ox. Don't jump to too many conclusions just because something goes down. It may come back or may need to be updated. Simple as that. And this happens regularly when we go into sales. They add new information when ships get new things added to them. Wouldn't be worried too much. You're not going to get a massive. I don't know. Do you see a price increase on the Caterpillar at all because it's got a command module? I don't.
I don't see one yet. I do see one when they finally go past it
and module the shit out of it. Yeah. Well, they'll sell the modules
and do everything else and give it the growth that it needs to make it work.
In a weird way, it might even just stay where it is, and the new version is the same price but without the cargo modules. You know what I mean? Kind of like what happened with the Retaliator. If you think about that for a second.
Yep. No, I would have no problem with them doing that. I could see them doing that.
European hardware enjoyer. Do you reckon Kraken owners will get an Ironclad as a loaner? Bloody hope so. What do you reckon, Algared?
Yep.
I said Caterpillar at the moment, and it's still short. Why not? I'd give them an Ironclad. Hell, you could probably give them an Ironclad and an Ironclad Assault. And it still wouldn't even reach the value of that thing. One is from Aberon, who says, last week I asked about combat drones. We see FPV one-way attack drones in real life. Do you think we will see these in SC? And if so, will we see counter-drone gameplay and infantry-based EW? He's using a lot of acronyms that I do not understand there. So he's clearly a military person because they always talk gibberish. So we did talk about attack drones a little earlier today, didn't we? When we're talking about the Pitbull. I think you would be crazy not to make some kind of drone mothership for this game. I think it would sell like hotcakes. Algared, anything you would care to add?
No, I think you'd be right. I think they'll do something. What they'll do, I don't know. But they'd be nuts if they didn't do it, because it just makes perfect sense.
I'd also like to see a lot more utility. Again, like all the stuff we see in drones, I want to say that on Snubs. Refuel, rearm, like why not? Like it's a low. Isn't a Snub just a lower tech version of drone? In that type of phrase, right? It is, isn't it not?
Yep. Well, Snubs are a level up from drones because you're a person.
But you know what I mean, right? Like it's almost like
similar.
It's like man turrets versus remote turrets is what I'm trying. Yep. It's in that vein of thought.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. It's not exactly the same, but it's in the same vein. Yeah. Okay. We're on the same page. and I have no idea which question I just brought up. What do you think about Odin? Who was that by? Parker says, no, shit. What do you think of so Artemis TGAM says, what do you think about the Odin's ability mechanics will be? What do the devs say players have never seen before? They just said, like, the only thing I've heard from people at CIG is that it's crazy at what it does. Mm-hmm. And if you combine that with the guns upon guns comment, okay, it attacks a lot of shit. Okay, cool. I need to know more. I don't want to just sit here and like again, you look at the picture, you can see a couple of turrets that look like they're folded away, and that's about it. Can you really make anything else out, Algared?
Nope.
Yeah. Are you preoccupied? You seem like your brain is turned off.
No, I'm looking at the questions that that Asher did put into the question channel.
All right, well, you can answer this one then. Powder Boom says, how did you two meet? What is your origin story? So I'll let you tell that one.
Okay, we met on Inforunners.
Actually met before that.
We did meet before that. We have actually officially first met at PAX Australia at the Bar Citizen, which was the very first Bar Citizen that had been ever run.
And he was doing this. Legs out, under the table. Grumpy old man style.
Fired. Yep.
But then we didn't even know we were in the same org, and we kind of got introduced by Hayes and Dyson, and
then we were guests on Inforunners.
Yep, and then we stayed and took over, and
then as they left, we stayed and kept going.
Yeah.
And then over the years, we met a couple of Bar Citizens, and then
I think we've met like 3 times ever in person. Oh, what, 4? Actually, 4 now.
Well, yeah, and then we suffered with each other at.
No, that includes that time. We've only met like 4 times.
And we suffered for a week or so at CitizenCon. So.
Well, I think the suffrage main came from the sickness that someone unfortunately brought there, and then spread to everyone. Which really put a dampener on my whole trip, because then after CitizenCon, I was just sitting there sick for like 2 weeks trying to recover.
And then you were hop along as well. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and I also had the sore foot as well. Forgot about that.
So yeah, it was a joyous time in some ways, but it was also very good. It was very And I told you the Odin story essay earlier.
Okay, so
back the game.
I assume he's talking about this one. So Carston says, could this picture have been taken in Castra? Yeah, maybe. The mountains, the fog. Maybe.
That's a bloody big planet behind it.
Moon, probably. I don't know.
Very close moon.
Yep. It makes me think that it's more like a shipyard around a planet.
So, yep. I tend to think it's a gas giant, but it's around. Which made me think Orison.
So man, with 1,000 solar systems, take your pick. Like, it could be really anywhere.
Yep.
So yeah, who knows?
Yeah, as Rabbit says, that's no moon. It's a Death Star.
All right, we're down to the last 2 questions on YouTube. So this one is from Philisterios, who says, I think about upgrading my Carrack to a Tiburon. Would it be a bad idea to give up the Carrack? There are too many Carracks around. I feel like I could always join someone else's as a crew member. That's a really interesting question, because I've asked myself the same thing, but not going from a Carrack to a Tiburon. Why wouldn't you go to an Odyssey? Essentially, a Carrack is a large ship, and the Odyssey is the capital explorer. So, and there are not a lot of Odysseys. They didn't sell very well because they really butchered how they sold it. And I think there's a lot of money to be made in the Odyssey. So the question really doesn't become Carrack to Tiburon. Is it, are you happy with that role change from exploration to combat? That's a big role change. Algared, your thoughts?
Yeah, look, I kind of asked the same question. Why would you go from an exploration ship to a combat ship? And when you compare what the ships bring, yes, the Tiburon has a great big laser. The Carrack has the scanners, a Snub ship, and an Ursa that come with it. So if you're looking at what do I melt, you've got big questions. But as you said, the big question for the Carrack is why am I going from the large explorer? Why am I not going to the capital explorer? And I think in that sense, if
gives you that earn down option too, doesn't it? So you could go back to the Carrack in game.
And I'll be honest, had they said from a get-go the Odyssey is the capital explorer, that would make sense of the comments that the Odyssey was a Carrack killer. Because I had hoped, but the way they sold it, butchered that.
They've been selling a lot of these ships on vibes and feels for years, and when you're spending so much money, I don't feel people buy, like, there are a lot of people that buy them on just how they look, right? I get that. But I think when you're into these bigger ships, a lot of people do their research and go, what is the role? What are they going to do? You know, it is an investment, right? And it's the same thing here today. I'm seeing that. I'm seeing people that are asking questions about the Odin, and they're wanting us to give them a bit of answers, but there's not enough there for me to give you the answers.
No, we can't give the answers. We can say, hey, look at the turret.
I don't want to go, oh, look, this thing fires magic fireballs out its butthole. I can't do that because there's not enough in that image for me to tell. No, and anything I look at, I'd be speculating at.
The only thing we can go that isn't speculation in going, look at the turret.
Yeah, that's it. And that is a big-ass turret.
The sneak peek.
Yeah.
And that's a big turret.
That turret's probably as big as a Carrack. I'm not even joking.
Well, you look at you saw the size of the human on the top. So that's a massive turret. That gives you a sense of scale. But that's all we can say. We'd like to think we're the fountains of knowledge, but we're dreaming if we think we can tell you exactly what that is. It's bigger than a javelin, smaller than a Bengal.
Speculation only gets you so far, and you need multiple photos. Right? Yep. Like again, if you go back to like the Kraken images we looked at last week, you needed those multiple angles to work stuff out. We've seen photos this week of the M80 through the video, like people working out the size of the guns, the number of guns, the panels, which panels open to reveal the size 5 guns, etc., etc. But they weren't doing that on the first day, were they? Even though you could see the panels,
there was a lot of.
They needed to be able to cross-reference things. So when you've only got one photo, nothing to cross-reference.
It's very hard to do that. And and when you're looking at larger ships, I like Grimm's point. Point. Look, if you're looking at big ships, and you're not going, you pick one big ship for what you want and then earn down. Grimm's like that. When you're looking at big ships, especially expensive ships, look at the role. Look at the role the ship's supposed to do. Is that something you want to be doing? And if it's not, then it's not for you.
The other thing is this Tiburon is probably the closest ship to the Tiburon is the Perseus. So if you didn't like the Perseus, and then the Tiburon is like the thought of the Perseus was something that you liked, but you weren't into it, like you want an Aegis one instead, then maybe look at it. But also, to think there's not going to be a video talking about this or that CIG trying to sell you this in the next couple of days, wait. And the other thing is, if you're unsure, why can't you just get a CCU from the character that and sit on it? Right? Anyone will tell you patience in this game gets you a lot further than jumping the gun. The game's not out yet, and I'm sure you'll have a friend that's got a Tiburon, and if you really, really want one, then you've got an option to go there and get one. Don't. And again, why can't you technically go from Carrack to Odyssey to Tiburon and actually double bet? You do that too.
Yeah.
So and then decide where you want to go. Hedge your bets. Diversification. in your upgrades.
Yep.
Anything else to add, Agrid? Or
nope. That's pretty much covered it.
All right, last question. Then. Go ahead.
One of our viewers was saying good night. So night, Thebes.
Night, Thebes. Let the bed bugs bite. Same person again says, are you planning to spend money during Defense Con? If so, which ships are you interested in? I'm going to be totally honest. Absolutely fucking none of them. There is nothing there that I'm interested in. They are all roles that I've already got covered, or I already have them. So, for example, I have an ironclad chain. But as I said earlier today, I am now moving away from the ironclad because I'm finding it is too close to the Banner Merchantman in role, and I can just earn back down from the Banner Merchantman. So this whole earn down thing, now Algared's got everything, right? So it doesn't apply to him.
Not quite, but most.
But you know what I mean, right? I do apply it. I do try to just get the biggest one and earn back down. Just no point in my book. And even then, you only need one big one, but I've got like a lot of the big ones. So, you know, for me, it's a double up, and it puts it on the chopping block. And I'd rather, you know, do I keep my Carrack and get an Odyssey? You know, like that's the thought patterns I kind of go through. Like, it's like, well, if I am going to double up on rolls, am I going to double up on cargo, or am I going to double up on a roll? And you would admit it. Well, Agrid, you tell me, as ships go, there's probably a bigger difference between the Carrack and the Odyssey than there is between, say, the Banner Merchantman and the Ironclad.
Based on what I can see, yeah.
Yeah. And so that's why I'm picking and choosing my double ups to even in that case to be more diversified. Yeah. All right. That's all the ones on the Uber Tuber. So I'll close that down, Algared, and then I can pull normal chat back up. If you would like to continue,
I'll go down the ones that Ashra is chucking into our channel.
Yep. Ashra does have to head off soon, he said, but there's probably we've got about half an hour left, so we've still got half an hour.
The pile that he did chuck in there.
Yep. Any double ups that we've already done, then we can just skip.
Yep. So from YouTube was Quincy Belko's 6267's question. Are we familiar with Rollo?
Algared, you missed something. So according to Pissball Pete, John Crew announced a full Caterpillar update rework on SCL. So it probably is going up in price.
I did say rework because when they were doing the...
You told me Gold Pass, not rework.
I said not a Mark II.
Oh, not
a Mark II. They're not Mark IIing it.
So they're just Gold Passing it.
They're bringing it full up to standard, but it's not getting a Gold Mark II version.
Now I'm hearing two separate things because full rework is full rework Mark IIing, right? And Gold Pass.
Listen, quote. This is a direct quote that I read from John Crew.
Yeah,
no Mark II.
Sorry, Algared. He's saying something different to what you're saying, and that's why I'm trying to get clarification. So go ahead.
No Mark II for the cat.
Right.
All right, but it'll be updated. It will get modularity. It will get all of that stuff.
Right.
So no Mark II. And they said that because of the fact that as they were doing the work, it was a 10-year-old chip, but so even doing the command module to it just...
So it's a full rework, but no Mark IIing, as in no price increase.
No sunsetting and bringing out a Mark II.
Yep. Okay.
That's what they said.
No sunsetting.
What I was saying.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
That's
so
good.
No, but they do need to do
because if
as
you
they do it
again. Like all those problems I had with skins, what was the point of buying a Pirate Caterpillar edition skin if it's useless? And I'm already seeing it. By the way, in game right now, Pirate edition skin doesn't work. It's not compatible with the they didn't put it in. But every other skin into the Caterpillar, not the Pirate edition.
Yep. So no Mark II full rework is what Sergeant Perry's saying. They said.
Yep. So it's basically the same treatment as the 600, essentially.
Yep. So basically reworking it, redoing it, but it's not sunsetting of a ship.
If they were going to announce that at DefenseCon and show that it's like increasing in size or something like that, then I can see the price going up. But it depends
and at the moment,
it depends how extensive the rework is.
Yep, and given the impression I got, it's an extensive rework because just getting the command module to work, they had to change so much because it was such an old ship, and it's as he said, it's 10 years old.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go watch that after this. But as I said, I just didn't have time. I woke up. You know what it's like me. I get up and I hit the ground running, get a cup of tea, and jump on, start talking to you, and then we go. We do a sound test and go. It's like always that quick.
Yep, and he said, it will have modules, but as they said to us, we didn't commit to any of those modules. We don't have to do any of the ones that have been ever talked about.
Right.
But it will have modules.
Yeah,
I think it's cargo.
I'm saying that the exterior would say largely the same, but that doesn't mean the scale doesn't change, Grim.
Yep.
So I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. Again.
Yeah, largely the same.
You can see why I want to sit down with John and Ben, because we can ask those poignant questions that other people miss. But even they miss things because they don't. Like, again, that became really clear when we were there. Like, we'd ask things and they'd get these looks on their faces like, what the fuck are you talking about? So I don't know. And I think that's borne fruit because of what you and I have seen over the last couple of years. And I can only imagine if we sat down with a couple of other content creators and them, it would bear a lot of fruit for them. That's my hope. But they have to want it as much as we do. I don't want to force them to do anything they don't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe we're wrong. Maybe we were the most annoying bastards ever. I've got no idea. I haven't heard any bad things, but we'll see.
It's possible. They thought they were the most annoying.
Well, we all left smiling, so either they're really good actors, or really good liars. That's what an actor is, isn't it? They're a good liar.
Mm-hmm.
They get paid for it. How criminal.
Yep.
As in the actors, but yeah.
Quincy Belk 62767 said, "Are we familiar with Grollo?"
All right, that's a really good one. My favorite is the Prowler has grab lev. Where was that from? Because that's funny as fuck. Was that from today? In Twitch, Madison,
probably.
Mad Stellick, who says, my favorite is the Prowler has grab lev. Yeah, they've made so many ships they're forgetting their own shit. That's essentially it. No, that was years ago. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Yeah. And they forget that about a lot of stuff. Like we remember stuff that they don't remember. But to their credit, like the thing about when they did the Aurora skins, they went all the way back to the Kickstarter and they made those skins. What they didn't do was roll them over to the Mark II, and that's what fucking blew. And that's what pisses me off. Because you promised all this shit, people held on to it for years, and then you just made it invalid by going, here's a Mark II. The thing about all those, let's just say, for example, they do that with the Connie Algared. Think about all the Connie shit that's come out over the years, and it's just all
wasted. Yep. If I sunset the Connies.
Can you imagine if they, the Merlins and the Archimedes, and they Mark II'd them as well as they went across all the skins, like all the Phoenix Emerald, undusted. Anyway.
Yep. Okay. I'll try it for the 5th time.
All right.
For this question. So chat, stop disturbing Execute. All right. So are we familiar with Grollo?
No, I just had to do that to kick off.
Execute. Hogan.
Make it too easy. Sorry.
I felt like Plink then. Yeah.
Yep.
So apparently Grollo is a guy who's into tech. He'd love to discuss, or Quincy would love us to discuss our ideas of containers.
It's in the room system.
Because he's a Star Citizen guy. Hey, the stuff we talk about containers is not stuff we've come up with. It's stuff that CIG said. It's just that we went.
Connecting dots. Look,
we connected the dots and went.
There are people that just go back. Like, you can literally go back through the Inforunners channel and you can see where me and Algared took over, because there were no thumbnails up until where I took over. And the very first one is I had a picture of Spock or something like that. That is the first episode that I was in control of. And then ever since then, you'll just see that the thumbnails just take off. So if you go back to there and just start watching a lot of the older ones, you can see the processes we go through, and you can see how Algared and I have evolved all the way along. We knew basically nothing back then, and we've just accumulated these knowledge. Well, not nothing, but like how much you and I learned in the time we've been here. It's a quarter of our lives, for crying out loud, you know. And we're not the only ones. Like Grimm's been around for a long time, Astropub's been around for a long time, as has many viewers, and it's a collective.
As we picked up knowledge even before then, like, you know, we had 4 or 5 years of knowledge before we were gathering Star Citizen stuff beforehand. And then it's just the channel is just we get to talk shit.
Yep.
And then we put Paul in and Grimm in, and we're talking shit. So they're saying that this guy Grollo in chat is big into game design. So look, if he's a Star Citizen person, he probably knows.
Just reach out and talk to us on Discord sometime, and if you really want to have a chat, we'll make time and sit down and have a chat.
Well, it's people saying we need to talk to Grollo, or we'd love Grollo to talk to us, not Grollo.
Well, you know, if it, you know, we'll have to talk to him and make sure he's not a dickhead, and go from there.
The stuff we got from containers was, I can remember there was an interview with Todd Pappy with Disco.
Yep.
And Disco was talking about, can we build, can we build a star base? And Todd Pappy said, well, there's no difference between a star base and a base on the planet. They use the room system. And, you know, you get a room here, it's a container, and then we just expand it, and we just, and then I think they even went, and the star systems are containers, you know, either, you know, you got a star, then you got a planet. The planet's a container. The moons are a container, and you're just constantly just filling out containers, and it's just.
I have no idea who this Grollo is, but a lot of people know who he is. So guess what?
Yeah, I've never heard of him.
Yeah, sorry, Grollo.
He's a systems engineer apparently, but yeah.
That's right. I think on both YouTube and Twitch, so yeah, a lot of people know who you are. Yeah, just reach out to me or Algared, and we'll set up a time.
Do you think the Ox and Caterpillar will be on sale in DefenseCon since they pulled them from the store?
Yeah, I think they're just making changes to the pages or something like that. Again, if they go up, they go up. But as I said, I don't think
so. That was from John Harris, Jason.
Well, this way, did the 600i go up in price when they announced the rework and all the added benefits it was getting?
Did it? I can't remember.
No, it did not.
No, but when it comes out,
that might be a different story. That might be a different story. Yeah.
John Ski said, will CIG let me put my account in my will to give to somebody?
You just have to give them a username and password.
One would hope so. It would be something you could legally do.
Algared randomly dies, and I'm in his in his will. It wasn't me.
Yeah.
You wouldn't
execute.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
What do you think about the Kraken Upgun reposting?
That's the third time. That's the third time that question's been asked. Next.
Do you think the rectangular objects at the rear, underbelly, behind, as well as the front of a bridge are vertical launch systems?
That one got asked as well. Don't know. Okay. Can't tell from one image. There does. Well, again, are they vertical launch systems or are they escape pods?
Yeah. Don't know.
As an example, just saying, there's no way to tell until we have the stats. So.
Yep. But hey, speculation's a wonderful thing. Just take enough rope to hang yourself.
I think the two things I'll safely tell you that I've mentioned before is this looks like a scanner and this looks like a shield. Yeah, that's about as far as I'm willing to go. Is it? Would you agree with that statement, Algared?
Well, I thought the round thing with a radar.
Yeah, radar. Sorry, radar. I said scanner radar, same shield. And that looks like a shield generator. Shield generator.
I thought
that's a shield generator straight out of Star Wars, and Anvil are very Star Wars ships.
I thought that was a radar dome from our modern day, but hey, that's okay.
Well, that looks like it's ripped straight off the Terrapin.
And you know, but yeah, like we talked about, you know, the thing you thought was a great big VTOL was, you know, could just be a fin,
wing,
a wing thing.
And you got to realize, look how it's lit from above. It hides a lot of details. This like the first thing I would do if I wanted to see shit on the ship is I would gamma the fuck out of it so you could see every second crook and freaking light that you could. I'd take it to Photoshop and I'd just dial it up to 11 so I can see all the details. But even then, look how far away you are. What is the sense of scale? Like we've got a ship, whatever the fuck that is in the background. It looks like a, I'm gonna be honest, it almost looks like a Starlite, but like you can't tell. Yep. And again, they're in the background, like, so how far back are they and stuff like that. So we've got no real sense of scale other than it's in a city, so it's fucking big, right?
Yep. It's in a gas giant shipyard.
It's like you want to say about speculation. You never speculate alone. Well, I don't think you speculate off one image. I think you need multiple images so you can start cross-referencing. So
I'm saying that's the galaxy in the picture.
Well, Galaxy in a minute. Anyway.
But
right, next one.
If you only had one javelin, would you sell it to try and get an Odin? That's from John Ski.
How many people are in your org, and how many people can you have to man the ship? And, like any capital ship that size, you got to constantly keep it up and out and maintained, and full-time job.
Yeah, look, I think ships like that will have the ability. You'll have the ability to have them despawn at the start base, just like we do it with javelins or Idrises and reclaimers and things at the moment. I can't see them making it that ships that you pay cash for cannot be despawned at a base. But if you're out in space, they'll stay up. They'll be there permanently. At least I think they will. But you've got to look at, okay, how many crew does it need? How many crew? What's the minimum effect? What's the minimum number of crew we can use to take this out? What are the minimum supplies we need to make this viable? What's the mission we're doing that's viable, that's fun?
They are fins, by the way. They're like the fins off the Terrapin. Yeah, I've just realised what they are. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So there's all of those questions that come into whether you get a ship. And if you've got a ship that, the Javelin might be perfect for the org. That might be, that's as far as we're ever going to go. We can't, but then they might go, well, yeah, let's go that. And then we can always turn down, I don't know. Maybe they just decide we'll get the battle cruiser and we'll build a Javelin in our starbase at a later point. Maybe they decide they'll work towards building a battle cruiser in their starbase at a later point.
At some other point, you'll get another battle cruiser eventually, won't you, too?
Yeah. So, yeah. Abby Abaddon said, big gun gameplay with the rise of these bigger ships. How do you see fleet battles playing out? One fleet will get destroyed, and then all the salvage ships will come in and loot stuff.
I don't reckon it's just a fleet battle now either. Like, space stations are going to be a thing too. Like, some of these battle cruisers and Bengals and stuff, they're going to be taken on space stations. Like, we are talking, like, with space stations, we are now talking serious numbers of people. Like, like I think we're in the neighborhood of, I don't say this number lightly, 500 people. Like you do 250 on a space station and then 250 people in a fleet that's attacking the space station.
And you're looking, and with a space station,
sounds like you're pissing yourself. Are you right there? Did you swing a leg?
That's why I was just.
That's what the mute button's for.
I tilted the glass at the bottom because I realized, that's sounding too bad.
Yeah, sure. Is it the right color today? Oh, there we go. Yeah. It's a good year. It's a bit green, with a hint of blood.
Now.
Right. Oh God, he drinks his own urine. Gross.
All right. So, are we disappointed with the Hammerhead Gold Pass?
I had a bug where it was showing up the first one for a while, so I actually had to recopy my account. But it's kind of really standardized. There's nothing really to write home about. It's added a lot of the buttons and panels and components. That's what a pass is at the moment, really, to me. Mm-hmm. It's nothing really a huge drastic overhaul. I think the only real big thing in that room is they added the gravity generator room, and it's fitting ball.
Yeah. Like all gravity generators.
It's completely sufficient. That is probably the word I would use. Satisfactory. Nothing grandiose. A lot of the changes, like to that front room, widened and better use of space. But it's still got the same problem where the ship is fundamentally just all these hallways, you know, and that's again how it was designed. You know, I think if they designed the Hammerhead from scratch, it would not be the same ship today. They had to learn how not to make them to learn how to make them. It's like anything in life, right? You take anyone that's really good at what they do, and when they started out, they were horseshit. It's just the nature of it, right? And you would agree, like going back to that first Retaliator, the Starfarer, the Connie, like those first big ones, and think about how many times they've been reworked, repolished, or have major bloody issues.
Yeah.
Then go look, and then we'll go look at the Tiburon next week.
And you'll find a lot of those problems aren't there. Yeah, you're right. A lot of those problems won't be there. Here's a question that I am Chintosh 418 on YouTube says.
I think you're about to say I'm struggling to read.
Yeah, I am struggling to read. I am Chintosh.
Yeah.
But looking at the picture of the Odin, they said, is that the retribution behind it?
Oh, that is a good question. Hang on.
That is a good question.
Potentially. Yeah, potentially.
It could be.
It does have the marks on it, like the retribution.
So that could be.
Oh yeah, that's actually a Terrapin, not a Starlight. You can see the same wing. Look, that's how I kind of worked it out. I was like, it's exactly the same wing off the Terrapin. Yeah,
I just thought it looked like an anvil wing.
You can see a lot more details when you zoom in on this thing too. I hadn't had a chance to zoom in yet. But if they're all like little windows, holy shit, this is a big ship.
Yep. Well, it's big.
I've got to assume it's got a hangar or something though at the front too. See that? That's very Bengal front, isn't it?
That's a very Bengali front.
Oh, unless they make it grill-like the Super Hornet. Yeah, the Super Hornet.
Yep.
Just a giant grill at the front. I don't know. We'll see.
I couldn't see it being a door, a hangar door like the Idris.
Yeah, it kind of annoys me that it's not on an angle like all the others were. And where's the top side and front view? You see what I mean? Like it would have been way cooler if it was exactly that. Again, I think it's deliberate.
Because it would have given too much away.
I think it's deliberate. Yeah.
Yep. No, I agree. But yeah, good question. No.
They look like they're torpedoes, Algared, or sensors or something. But yeah, we're going to see. Now
they do.
Now I'm starting to speculate.
Base Trooper is asking you to check your Discord because he's probably got something that's highlighted for you. Why are you doing that? Jock Crop has a question, which may start off facetiously.
Where did this come from? This is this better be real. I don't know if this is real. Someone tell me if this is not real. I'm going to bring it up, but if it's not real, look, that does kind of look legit. Wow, that really is a battleship if that's true.
Battle cruiser.
Where did this come from?
Base Trooper.
Yeah, Base Trooper. Spill the beans. Where did this come from? That is just like Space Yamato. That is exactly like it's even got the same diamond thing that the World War II Yamato had.
Grim's begging you to send it to him, by the way.
Oh, it's AI.
Oh, it's AI. Okay.
Oh, is that AI? I've got no idea. Gemini AI is that so basically he got it to extrapolate what the ship would look like from the
based on
the top. Okay. The rear.
Okay. A nice bit of
it does say,
speculation.
oh yeah, you're right. It does have the Gemini. Algared, it's behind you. If I turn you, move to the other side. See the star? That means it's Gemini.
Yep.
So this is all fake. But it's still kind of cool.
Yeah, it is cool. Yep. So Jock Crop has a question related to the Odin. The first part is facetious. Is the Odin soluble? But he goes, no.
No.
But the real question is, how many crew do we think it'll need?
You can probably fly it soluble, but you're not going to get far.
Look, I think you look at the Idris was, I think, 12 to 24 originally. I think it might be something like that still. The Javelin was 20 to 80, I think it is. So I'd be saying this is at least 40 to 100, 40 to 300 fuses, 3,000 fuses. Your fuse banks are going to be. You have one person just standing there constantly changing the fuses because they're blowing.
It's actually got its own fuse production line. They permanently have people just making fuses in a factory down in the crafting lab, and then there's just like it's just like a mail sorting room, and they're all sucked out through pipes to different parts of the ship. Fuse.
Yep. Rabbit, her question: do you think? What did you think is the holdup for gas extraction gameplay? Refining.
You got it from some Twitter post, but yeah, it's definitely sorry, what was the question? I was just listening to what Twitter said.
What do you think? This is Rabbit. What do you think is the holdup on gas extraction gameplay? Necessity, need.
Yeah, it's not really needed. You kind of need. They've got the refueling coming in there, right? But you can just buy it from a space station. So that's the stopgap, right? And let's be honest, it's probably easier to buy it from a space station right now than it is to go gather it.
And the only ship we've got with the harvester at the present
is the Starfarer. I wouldn't rule out the Starlite yet, but from what me and you have looked at, there's no refueler on it. But that doesn't mean if those two pods are off the Starfarer, why couldn't one of them be the refining pod?
Yeah. Why couldn't you put a refinery on?
Yeah, so you go refinery and you go fuel pod, and then you can actually refine your own shit. So it could potentially in the future also do refining, but it can only do one. So if you go out and you're collecting all this gas and you are looking for, and you've already collected some hydrogen and you find a fuckload of methane, well, you're up shit creek because it's going to be filtered out because you've already got hydrogen in your tank. So that's a disadvantage. Where if you go out with bigger one, it's going to be able to filter all the different types into different tanks.
Yeah. If I recall the show this morning correctly, when they were talking refueling and refining and saying, refining will be its own profession. Again, you want refineries on planets first, so you can actually do do that and then put them onto ships. And so if that's the process they're going to get the gas extraction would be step one, then you're refining it.
I think the only problem with that is you do need a mobile version of that to go out to where the miners are, because it's still, look at it this way, if you're coming back to a building, isn't that the same as going to a space station? You've got to go there, right? So even if you had basic base building, then you could build an outpost exactly where you are. Yes, that is an advantage. But also if they've also just got a ship that can rock up and do it, like the Expanse or whatever one they
Bastion
end up making.
Bastion on Twitch is showing that they are a new gamer to Star Citizen.
What do you say?
Fuel scooping was only for hydrogen.
Oh my God,
right? You still need quantum rock for quantum travel. Back in the day, you harvested quantum fuel with the Starfarer.
Yeah, and
they changed that.
And then they changed it to be a rock. Now that doesn't mean you can't find titanium as a gas. You just don't have it confirmed. And the Starfarer was actually meant to fly into gas giants and literally scoop up all these different types of gases from that. And also we'll have Nebula now that you can do it on. And technically the Starfarer is a large ship, right? So that means there's a ship above it, a capital. And that also means there's a couple of ones below it as well.
One below it.
So when we get something like the Starlite that's a fuel transporter, that's only half of what the Starfarer does. So there's probably going to be another ship, maybe even similar in size to the Starlite, that collects gas.
A third of what the Starfarer does, because the Starfarer harvests and refines and transports.
I'm not going to get into that because that actually is a can of worms. Does that other ship do refining and collection, or does it just do collection? And that's.
But they did.
I wouldn't rule it out. Yeah.
They did also confirm again that the Starfarer does have a refinery on it.
There is no proof one way or the other at the moment about a fuel scoop on the Starlite, but
nope,
I wouldn't rule it out. Again, look, let's. Look, me and I are going to probably do an episode on these 5 ships this weekend. I'm going to be honest, right? But I'll give you a little bit of it here, right? All you can look at is panels and stuff, right? So me and Algared, like, the first thing was like, well, would we put the boom on the front or on the back to refuel people? And at the moment, it's really hard to refuel people with the Starfarer if you've gone into the PTU because the arm is on the back, and trying to line it up is a nightmare. So I honestly think that if you zoom in on the top view, right? I'm not going to give you everything on this, by the way, but I'll just give them a bit of a preview of what we've been talking about. Is you can look in here, it appears to be a window and a long, thin door. We think the boom might come out of there, and then it goes across the window so the pilot can see that it's extended, because he's just looking straight up and he can go, all right, okay, my boom's out, right? And so he can now fly up and dock the front of his ship a lot easier with the ship that can no longer move because they're out of fuel. You got to remember that. So it's not like the Starfarer where they're coming along to top up. They are shit out of gas. Hence the red colors for emergency. So that's the type of thinking me and Algared do. We try to put ourselves in, why would we design it a certain way? Why would those outcomes be that way? And it's the same thing when we started talking about the fuel tank. These, they look a little bit like the things on the Starfarer. And when you look at the back here, it really does look like it's been ripped off the Starfarer, but it's not quite the right shape. So again, we go, is it something new? Is the Starfarer getting reworked to take these new pods? You see where we went.
And then you look at the larger one and you can see pipes that look like they're coming from the side of a ship to the front, and or from the back of a ship to the front, which goes, okay, what are they for? Are they for moving the fuel?
Like these, this is what he's talking about. Yeah.
And then you got one going up the top as well. So it's all those types of questions. But we're just speculating.
And again,
we're looking at what we see.
Yeah, is it on top like we said, or does it come out this door here? Because this is the door for the elevator, right? And that's obviously going to go up to this floor. Does that mean there's a second floor? Does that mean it's just one elevator and it just happens to be Chungus because of the massive container? Who knows? But until this comes out, we're not going to know for certain. We can only look at every single nook and cranny, and then, as we always say to you guys, and rein it in and narrow what we can look at. But already there with a boom arm, I'm telling you, there's 2 options there: this front thing and on the roof. And I personally, we prefer the roof one, don't we, because of the window? But
yeah, the roof makes sense. But I looked at it. When I first looked, I said, there's a thing at the back.
So Algared, and we kind of went through that, and then we went, well, it probably doesn't make sense to have it on the back because of the reasons I stated earlier. Plus, also, if it comes off, it's going to be in the way.
And then you look at those pipes that are going up the top, and you go, well, okay, so you got this little pipe, and you see it pop up at the top as well, and you go, okay, well, what's going on with that? What's the purpose of it? So you start to guess and then toss things around and see which one works and which one doesn't. And and then we looked at, would this have living quarters? And you look at where it is and you can see, I could see, basically that silver bit before the tanks, that almost looks like where your living quarters and other things are going to be. If it's 2 decks, you've got living quarters down the bottom and then the technical level at the top.
Yeah, any of those. So someone's just asking in chat, Polaris can refuel Quantanium too. Yeah, you'll just have to have that fuel, Quantanium or hydrogen, in your cargo bay.
Yep. Yeah, so ships that can carry, the motherships, they will be able to refuel. I remember back in the day when they were talking originally first, the ships in hangars being able to refuel. And I remember them talking about the Connie in particular, and it possibly being able to refuel but not rearm, because you'd have had to go outside the ship to rearm, and for the missiles or the ballistics, and again probably some repair would have to do that as well. But
do you want to you want to school Petey for a minute? Petey reckons I was crazy about it was Bob's, not Pete. Was it Bob? Shit, I can't remember who it was. They're both as crazy as each other, so it was one of them. But we did talk about this last week with the hoses from Squadron 42 coming across.
Blatantly obvious.
Yeah.
Blatantly obvious. You've got hoses already being shown in our hangars that's been lying on the floor. You've got gameplay. We've got tractors that'll bring them. We've got our rope tech that is basically our tractor beams that show how it works. But you look at other games. I think it's Surviving Mars was a game where you had you wanted to join two cables, and you'd literally have a tube, and you plug one in one end, and you drag the other thing, and your tube would follow you behind. You plug it in the next thing, and you link up power. They've got the physics to do it. They can do that, and they've talked about hand refueling, and that would be a hand refueling.
Also, in a multiplayer game, though, like technically the hose doesn't have any effect on the gameplay. You've only got to know where the nozzle is and the thing on the wall, and you just you're essentially drawing up. Maybe you need 1 or 2 points, potentially, or entities, just so they're vaguely in the same place.
The game that I play, basically Mars survival game. You're building your settlement. You're building your place. You're laying your cables for your oxygen, your water, your power. You're pointing from point A to point B. Once you laid your cables, you could walk over them. They didn't trip you up. They didn't have an impact on anything. But when I pulled them out, I could move them around again. And that's a game that I played 5-6 years ago, easily. You're telling me that tech is not in Star Citizen and not being able to be used? That's silly. It's in.
Agreed. And all that stuff we saw about rope tech and all that type of shit.
Yeah. So I can see that. And the fact they've got all the nozzles being put onto vehicles and, nozzles on the side for refuel. Well, that's not how you're going to refuel a ship in space. That's for ground refueling. That's for hoses and other stuff. Everything I see in game, everything seems to imply where we're getting that rope tech being applied to refueling and other stuff. So, yeah. All
right. Next one when you're ready, mate.
Charity says, Charity 218, Captain Waldhauer says, the M80 is having 2 size 5s and 2 size 4s. Doesn't make the Guardian and others obsolete.
No, because there's also a thing, like we did talk about this a little bit, right? And it's something that we learned from John Crew and Ben again, is most people buy ships on the way they look, right? Not everyone informs themselves as much as all us hardcore people do. They don't go in and read every little stat, nook and cranny. They just go, "Ooh, that looks nice." And one person I think we can attest to that it's a little bit like that, and don't take this as an insult, is Piggles. Piggles is a real big fan of a lot of the way ships look, right? And he even said to us this week, I think I'm going to be buying another ship when he saw that M80.
80.
And as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, he's going to buy that.
Well,
because it's right up his alley.
John Crew, I thought, spoke exactly to that today on the stream. They were talking about other ships for refining and that stuff. And he said, look, we've got the Starfarer. It's a refuel ship. We may bring out a Drake ship or an Origin ship and Drake ship. He used those as the classics, the examples for the point. Under the hood, they're doing exactly the same thing. But there'd be people who'd go for the Origin version and people who'd go for the Drake version, even though systems and the things they're doing are exactly the same, because they want to give people that choice, and they'll give people that choice. There will be other refuelers that are not from MISC. There will be other refuelers. There'll be other repair ships that aren't from MISC. There'll be, or from Anvil or whatever. There'll be, you name it. There'll be ships, and the alien ships will also fall into that category as well.
Captain Wrangler says Kruger greater than Origin. My opinion, Kruger reminds me of Star Wars. No, actually, and Kruger is just a very small subset of Star Wars. I think it's Naboo. Because I think Anvil is the Empire. And I think we'll probably find in time that will be other manufacturers that probably borrow from Star Wars as well. Like, Grey's Market's a little bit like the Junker, the war, Slave One, the Junker ships and stuff like that. And Drake probably leans into that a little bit as well. So I don't think it's exactly just Star Wars. I think it's very specific parts of Star Wars. Anyway.
Yeah, it's CIG picking the bits that they like. You'll see, I wouldn't be surprised if you got your Star Trek version ship. And I imagine, to be honest, I could see RSI being very much more Star Trek than Star Wars in the styling of their ships.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I actually watched episode 3 last night before I went to bed, and there was a few ships in that I'm going, oh yeah, I'd love to see that. General Grievous's ship that Obi-Wan takes after he kills Grievous, I was like, yeah, I want to see that.
Yep. And you think about it, like, how many of our ship concept artists are guys who have designed or built ships for Star Wars or Star Trek?
Yep.
Or even the Mandalorian. The guy who built the Mandalorian ship is the guy who designed, if I remember correctly, the Cutlass.
You would agree too, and Pissball Pete's mentioning this as well, that some of the RSI stuff is starting to look very Star Trek as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought I just said. Within the cells on the
Actually, we have
RSI
to go the other way. He said he'd bet his dog on it, but he'd lose his dog if we go the other way. So maybe we should just no.
Yeah. But
I wouldn't do that to Noonien, but then again, then he wouldn't have to be with Peyton anymore, so it might be better for Noonien. I don't know how that goes. Anyway,
I don't know.
Key ringer. Right, next one.
So yeah, there's while the M80 might be exactly the same as those other ships, it gives choice, and I think that's one of the things CIG will do. They'll have ships and everything. NASA Artemis says, NASA Artemis.
Don't read the whole thing.
Hit that person.
Just say Ash. His name is Ash.
All right, Ash. I'd like that even better. How will a player owner of the Odin log out?
On a bed.
Will it persist? What about claiming the ship? Will it spawn?
Well, it depends what all those rules are, because they've chopped and changed and changed a little bit over the years. But the original intent was large capital ships like a Javelin, once they're spawned, can never be despawned. They can only ever dock at the space station. And then over the years, they've changed things a little bit to go, oh, if no one's been around it for a amount of time, it'll despawn.
Yep.
So it really depends on the server's needs, is the way I read that, don't you?
Well,
if the server can handle it staying there, it'll stay there. If the server can't, it'll...
Yeah, they'll despawn as they need to. And you go around stations at the moment, you find some ships that have been left there by people, they're still there.
I found ships that have been there like a month later. Like a shit, like Kramers and Carricks and shit, just that I come back to do another mission. I was like, that was when I was here last time. What the...
Yeah, I tend to try and salvage them, move them, clean them up, clean up the area.
Yeah.
Get rid of that extra assets that are hanging around. But yeah, I can remember one of the guys early on. It was I don't remember his name.
Does it matter? Yep.
And Valkyrie was saying, look, when we're talking ships, and this is 2014, and we're talking would ships despawn? And they said they couldn't imagine CIG making ships that we paid for not be able to be despawned or safe
Yeah.
Because of the hassles and the layers of complexity for them. They'll make it so it's fun. They'll make it so there's a level of realism, but there'll be ships that'll disappear if you're on the same server.
It really depends on the role of the ship and what they want their gameplay to be. But I can't imagine having a ship that never despawns being exactly particularly fun. Like if you're essentially the security guard on night shift, that's not very exciting.
And for a ship that you pay, that real world money is $6,000 or $4,000 or $3,000, whatever it is. If it never despawns and you log off one day because and then
the power goes out.
Or the power goes out and you come back and your ship's been taken over or lost. Well, that sucks. So they'll look at the fun factor, both for the owners and for the game and for everything else, and they'll balance it. All
right, next one. I think is a real quick one. Zimboy says, how much do you think the Kraken will be once released? Like most ships, they go up 10 to 20%. Just work out 10 20%, smack it on top. So 1600, 160, double that is all. What's that? That's 380 or something like that. So you're close to 2000.
Yep. Amiarian.
Yeah, go for it.
So last week I asked about combat drones.
We did that one already. The next one.
We did that one, okay.
Yep.
These ones are from Twitch that were pulled out. That one's also been done. Prim Dokikara says,
yep.
I'll just call it Prime.
Yep.
Prime Kodik Ara. With all this talk about big ships, wouldn't one consider the number of friends they can muster in any given day? Oh yeah, Percy, I can swing 2 friends usually, but not many more.
Yes, but also they have talked in the past extensively about a party finder. A game like this absolutely needs a really robust party finder. And you can think back to games like WoW, what it was like before Party Finder and after Party Finder. And it'll be in levels, but I think once they get a couple of really big ships in, like the Odin and the Bengal and the Krakens, they're going to have to start putting friend finder on the table sooner rather than later. It might be 2-3 years away, but they're going to need it, some version of it fairly quickly. So I think you'll see something rudimentary.
And chucking that in, you've got the NPCs, the ability to hire NPCs for your ships or to assist you. How many we can do, we don't know yet. Hiring them for their skill will increase their cost. Hiring for their
You also to feed back into that, you also actually need the party finder and the player rating system to actually kind of ascertain levels of the AI as well. We've talked about that at length as well. They all feed into each other. Those 3 systems are very integral, but you do need them to pull this game off at length. Yes, it'll make it easier, but Algared will tell you, right? And we talked about this when we talked about it before. It's always better if you can actually know the people that are on your ship, right? Because obviously the trust level's there. But if the people that you're getting that are turning up are all like 4 and 5 stars, you're going to feel a lot more comfortable than if they turn up they're 1 and 2 stars.
And then it's also a matter of how well do they know the ship.
Oh.
Like I've been on ships with people, and if there's a ship I don't know, I'm lost.
Well, yeah, you could get a 2-star that is way more knowledgeable at that particular ship than a 5-star.
Yeah,
that is true.
Yeah. And I think part of my hatred of the Starlands, not the Starlands, is the A2s and the C2s and the Hercules. I hate the Hercules, but I think part of my reason I hate it is one of the first times I joined someone else's ship and I couldn't find my way around, and the turrets just felt that.
Right, before you go off on a tangent,
that negative.
90 says last crew member who logs out could despawn the ship, not the owner. This is true, and they did state things to that effect. But that means the owner needs to be the last person that spawns off, and they need a way to tell that everyone else is off the ship, which you could probably do on an MFD with a life reading scanner thing. But then also, doesn't that gameplay come in if you're a bad actor? You could have something that hides you from the life scanner.
Yep.
See how it works? Goes both ways. Anyway.
But yes, there's a nasty, horrible ideas that come into that. But yeah, so there'll be other things that come into crew size and crew count. But yeah.
Right, Grim says...
Grim has a question.
I have both a reclaimer and a moth. Which one should I melt for the current game? Game right now, the moth is pretty good. But ideally, what I would do is I would have a moth that you could upgrade into reclaimer for endgame. That would be my bet. That's what I would do, wouldn't you, Algared? I'd have a CCU for the reclaimer from a moth. So you can play with the moth right now, and then when the reclaimer gets all fixed up, if it's good, you apply the upgrade.
Look, I've used both in the current patch. I like the moth because I can take it into the hangar and unload and do stuff. The reclaimer I just take back to my main base and unload at a planet, the main base.
Yeah, it needs docking, is what you're saying.
Well, I can dock the reclaimer, but it's unloading the reclaimer once it's at the dock.
They haven't added that feature, is what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Whereas when I land at the planetary base is when the reclaimer I can unload it. And the current gameplay, they're fairly equal. Reclaimer enables you to store a lot more and carry a lot more before you have to go back. The moth, you're constantly going back every one or two missions. Any, mini, miny, mo. I'd have probably said, do what X said. Get the moth. You've got the moth. Get a CCU to the reclaimer so you can upgrade to that later. Melt your reclaimer because it's worth more. If it's worth more. And I'd melt the more expensive ship. If your moth's the more expensive one because you're looking at credits for getting your Odin, melt the moth, earn down to a moth later on. That's my thought process. So
next question. I believe it's from Pissball Pete.
Okay, so Pete says, yeah, but he's actually questioned for Cool Story Bob.
Skip it.
That's not really one.
Yep, next one.
Askavi says, is there any information about the universal ground vehicle, which is assumed to be an Atlas variant and like the Clipper, meaning with med and fabrication function?
All we have is the name. They called it an Auxiliaria. That's it. And if you look up Auxiliaria, it's a medical unit, same as the Centurion and the Spartan, so it's Roman named. But if you take what's in the Clipper, and knowing that the Clipper's having issues getting it to work, that's the same reason we didn't see the Auxiliaria. Just that simple.
Yep.
Because it would have the same issues. So when they fix that issue and get it working, you'll see other crafting ships and vehicles come into the game. Again, got one tier 3 bed and a fabricator, which is about the same size as the bed. So you can almost see one on either side at the back of the Auxiliaria, and you're done. And maybe a small cargo space. But it makes it really good for repairing both troops and vehicles.
Yep.
It literally is a support ground vehicle, like a really good one.
Yep. I Hudson Hawk, in going back to the moth reclaimer, he says no point to have a moth if you have a reclaimer. In the current gameplay,
he did say current game.
Yeah, and I am saying in the current gameplay, the moth is probably slightly better because you can use the local stations to unload and do stuff.
They probably don't want to do it because it's a feature they may end up removing, but they need something like the whole sea where it can unload, like it just goes into that area and unloads. You need that for the reclaimer, and until they add that, never going to happen.
Until they add that, and sometimes they talked about, and it ties in with one of the things they talked about on the show. Like people were asking why don't we have armor in? And I said, well, we've kind of just fudged it at the moment. It's a stopgap so we can get data, but we don't want to really go into things which we know we've got to redo with Maelstrom. If they know they're going to redo the reclaimer or fully rework it or do whatever they're doing, there are things they don't want to do where we're going to have to redo it.
That also should have been the question that was asked when the Caterpillar was asked, are you going to rework the fucking reclaimer? Because that's fucking obvious as well.
So that's a type of thing they go, yes, we'll do this. We are going to do this, but it's a time issue. And I'm pretty certain they raise it every time the question of ships come in. and John talked about it. We're working on the Kraken at the moment. About the big ship, we try to start and finish a ship. If we're not working on the Kraken, we can work on a half a dozen smaller things. So there's that balance that comes in as well. What do you want them to do? Do you rework a ship or start a new ship?
To be honest, you almost want to wait till they get all the functionality of salvaging before they go up and do the reclaimer. Yeah, because you don't want to redo it twice, do you? You want to just redo it once.
And that's one of the reasons why we've still got the reclaimer sitting where it is.
So you'll probably find things like the Starfarer and certain other ships may sit there broken for a bit.
Yep.
While they build other ones.
Look, the reclaim. I've been using a reclaimer. I've been using the Moth. I like them both. There are advantages for Moth in the current gameplay, but there are advantages for reclaimer. Even with my limited time limited stuff, I can dock the reclaimer at a station and log off. I can dock the Moth in a station and log off. I can take the reclaimer back to the station, back to my home base and unload. For the refining of the construction parts, I then need to take that stuff loaded onto a merchant ship and fly it back. But that's probably the biggest glitch. But yeah, they're the same.
All right, next question. Shady Face says, I just heard there are body kits for the Shiv. Is this true? Well, it appears to be potentially true. So this is a screen grab of the trailer that was dropped, and you'll notice that there are two big wings here, either side of the Shiv, and what appears to be some kind of bar railing, reinforced bar on the Shiv, and that doesn't appear on the normal Shiv. And it wasn't there when me and Grim went for a walk around the halls together. It wasn't on the Shiv that was sitting there. In fact, this almost looks like a slightly different color, the one that we saw. But also, someone found this cosmetic rear right, cosmetic rear left, and cosmetic nose. So implying that there are now 4 cosmetic pieces for at least a Shiv. And then the question after that becomes, is this just a Grey's Market thing? Or does this going to extend onto other ships in the future? And then there are other questions like, if you go back to this image, does that affect flight surfaces as well? Or is it just purely cosmetic? So
are they the 4 cosmetic features added, and can I have one and not the other? And
can I add certain ones to improve certain flight characteristics?
Can I add one and leave, one wing and leave the other one off to make it feel like it's a totally unique?
And then it goes further, and they're going to start to add it. We already have that little love teddy bear thing you can get, and we also know there are bobbleheads and a whole bunch of other stuff coming. But see where I'm going, right? Just how far are they going to are they going to sell all these? Like, is that going to be a thing in the future? Can I when we looked at the Tiburon earlier, it's not in this image, but there's these fins on the back of it, right? Left and right on the back. Can I take those fins as an example and put them on my hammerhead? You see where I'm going? So how far are they going to take this? And clearly it'd have to be a rollout because that's massive if it's the case. But it does go back to what you and I talked about and Bob's about making them your own because they're junker ships. So I have to assume at this case, it's at least that's the limited area of it. They're wanting the junker ships to feel more like junker ships. But I wouldn't rule it out going further later.
No, look, I could see them going further down the track. But it means they've got to go through the part that they want to add and change and do all that too. And again, it's that question you asked, how far do they want to take it? But I think the Grey's Market, where they're junker ships and they've got the different parts being added, I can see them having a string of parts that they could do. And then the question is, do those parts change the flight model of the ship? Do those parts add extra weapon hardpoints? Do they add...
Well, maybe it's a test target like the 300i with the coffee machine and the internals and all that. And if it goes well...
I was thinking the same thing myself. It's just a test idea of something they're playing with. Like they do with the 300i.
Great minds think alike, they say. All right, we're getting down to the last question, Algared. What is the last question, sir?
Yep, the last question is... no, that was it.
No, it wasn't. I thought there was one more. Oh no, you'd already done it.
There was one. I'd already ticked it. We did it.
Cool.
With this one.
So there's a YouTuber that goes by the name of Fried Chicken. Now I've never seen him streaming before, but he's streaming, so I thought would rate him. He doesn't have a particular large amount of viewers. He's got about 34 people there. But he's someone that I recognize from YouTube, so I thought, why not? Some support.
Fried Chicken Live.
He's got some thick glasses that can see in the future, like some other Algared I know. Ask him how it feels to wear the glasses of a really old man. And see what he says.
I get told constantly that they make you more gunting, more handsome. So there you go.
That woman is lying to you. Anyway.
I'll just.
You might be biased, I think, Algared.
I'll surrender. I think she's biased. Definitely biased.
Surrender. Wow. Okay. So, who wears the pants? We now know. Right. All right. So yeah, just break his follow button, guys. Make sure he's. We're going to see if he's set up properly for Twitch streaming. We'll be watching in. So Twitch, say goodbye to YouTube. YouTube, say Twitch, say goodbye to YouTube. Well, have a good week. We'll do an episode on the ships more thoroughly this weekend, and look forward to seeing you all at CitizenCon. Not CitizenCon. God, what is wrong with me?
No.
DefenseCon, where I'm not going to get any sleep. Clearly, I need more. Oh. Thanks for joining us, guys. Great having you. Thanks for all the cool questions. Adios. Bye. And
apparently,
let's have a listen.
He also does a lot of YouTube videos.
He does.
As well.
I did say that. Let's have a listen in.
I have way too many games. I appreciate you with the big raid. Look at that. What's going on? OP Focus, big raid with 138. Hey, I appreciate it, y'all. Now we in here today. How's everyone doing?
I don't think he even knows who we are. He just saw the raid. Didn't even say who we were.
I appreciate everyone who's popping in. Is that a reclaimer down there? It sure is. Sure is.
You like some fried chicken.
Hey, I appreciate.
He likes fried chicken.
Everyone who popping in for today's stream, man. We got big numbers today. That's what I'm talking about.
He's excited.
Sure.
Yeah.
How's everyone doing? Big raid.
All right, we'll leave him to do his thing.
On his Percy.
Good to see that he enjoyed that raid. I always like it.
Always nice
when they enjoy a raid. It's one thing I think I really would like to see on YouTube. Honestly, that they need to copy that over. But
one day they may.
Yeah. So for the YouTube people, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and thank you to everyone that went extra mile at the end of the video. Oh boy, in the credits, man, I am tired. I need to go have a break and some food. We went half an hour over today. So yeah,
3.5 hours.
Yeah. So well, if we don't end up doing that episode, we'll do something else. But we'll see. I don't know. You feel like doing an episode on one of those ships again? What we think, like initial impressions. I think we'll do that. That's an easy one.
Yeah, look,
I like a lazy episode.
Mate, lazy episodes are good episodes.
I swear I'm still not over it. I feel like I'm losing my voice again. You can kind of hear it when I laugh. It goes silent again.
I felt the same. You know, I am getting that feel.
Yeah.
All right. Still coughing from every so often, but yeah.
Yeah, well, as long as it's not coming out both ends, you're fine. Right, with that then, he's been Algared.
He's been Execute. I almost went, I've been Algared. That clearly says I'm tired.
I'll swear you're delirious. All right, see you, citizens.
Take care, guys.
God, we need a break. Oh! All right, let's turn this thing off.